The weather here has changed. It's raining outside, temperature's cooling down, but this week was a wonderful week here in the high 10. This conversation is about Sean Puffy Combs. Most of you are following the nonsense rhetoric pertaining to Puffy. You've heard every version, story. Well, the trial starts on Monday. I don't know why I thought it was the 15th, but anyway, it's Monday the 5th. So I'm going to play a little bit of commentary, uh, projections pertaining to what could be, what may happen next week with choosing a jury. But we will see. Every other day I'll weigh in, ask you questions. I've already put up a poll, commentary tonight pertaining to Sean. What do you think the verdict will be? I believe they've already going through at least 600 potential jurors. It's a lot of people. And we will see what happens. Hopefully it's a diverse group of people with different races, backgrounds on the jury panel. Hopefully there won't be any shenanigans, anyone acting a fool, doing anything mischievous, because that's all we need. But let's get down to business. Fox is the source of this information pertaining to Sean. And after Sean, we're going to talk about just life in general, different things. And I'm going to share a true story with you guys today. Some crazy nonsense that popped off today earlier when Queen was feeling really good. You should know the devil had to come tap on my door. Always a story with the Queen. Check out my posts, polls, shorts, and also follow me on the Newsbreak app. You're now listening to the Vault XL. Thank you.
Diddy Combs is about to face off in the biggest trial of his life, from those freak-offs to those RICO charges. There's a lot going on in this case, and a lot of witnesses will also be taking the stand. But here to break down the very latest, I want to bring into the conversation legal analyst Seema Ramani. Lima, thanks so much for being with us here on Night Now Fox.
Of course, Christina, excited for next week.
And it's been a trial that we've been continuing to follow here over the last few months, and really over the last years, those developments have still tried to come into our newsroom. But let's start with the very basics. Something that came out this week: Diddy formally declined the last plea deal that he was offered. Again, we know court is set to begin on Monday. Was this an expected move for him to turn down that final plea offer?
Christina, it was expected, and the judge in the case, Judge Subramanian, asked Diddy, did you decline or reject the government's offer? And the reason is, it's the defendant's right to a speedy trial, and the judge wants to make sure that he is making a knowing and voluntary decision to push the case to trial, because obviously there's a benefit to pleading. Usually you get a reduced sentence. I still think it would be double-digit years in federal prison under any plea deal. Obviously, the judge and the parties did not disclose the terms of that offer, but I can't see the government giving a huge discount in this case. Now, that being said, Christina, if and when Combs is convicted, he may be looking at decades in federal prison. Judges tend not to give much of a discount or leniency when defendants like this push their case to trial, and very serious federal charges like sex trafficking and racketeering are proven beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury. And it is in his mid-50s, but I believe he's 55, and if he is convicted, he may end up spending the rest of his life in federal prison.
And it'll be interesting to watch here. And before we jump into the jury selection aspect, I want to talk about what we're going to be expecting to see Diddy wear in court. This has been one of those conversations that's happening. He's allowed to wear up to 5 button-down shirts, pants, sweaters, socks, and shoes without any laces in the courtroom. So he's not going to be there in his normal jail uniform that he's grown, I'm sure, quite accustomed to over the last few months. Is that going to be important for how the jurors see him when they're standing there in court? They'll be wearing regular clothing, not, again, some of those jumpsuits that they wear while behind bars.
Christina, that's expected, and defense lawyers routinely make this motion for their clients to wear civilian clothes because the prison guard is pretty prejudicial, and jurors see someone in that orange jumpsuit and they assume that he's a criminal. Obviously, we have a presumption of innocence in this country. That presumption can be overcome at trial. I do think the government will be able to overcome that trial, but defense lawyers routinely make this motion. It's routinely granted. You see even accused mass murderers in civilian clothing, suits. button-up shirts and the like at trial. Obviously, there'll be marshals there to make sure everyone's protected, but this is something that I expected when the defense made the motion. I don't think the government really had a good basis to object to it.
And again, that jury selection process has been underway. It was an original pool of 600 jurors that they now have to whittle down to just 12 with 6 alternates as well. Now let's talk about that process a little bit. What kind of goes on behind the scenes, and how difficult is it truly to get 600 jurors down to just 12?
Christina, they call it jury selection, but really it should be called jury deselection. So the judge goes first, and he's going to ask questions of the potential jurors, and he's going to remove any that he believes can't be fair and impartial. Then the parties get to ask their own questions. So you see the lawyers get up there, talk to the jurors about their views on sexual assault, physical violence. Have they ever been victims of a crime? Then the parties get to use their own strikes. These are called peremptories. The lawyers will strike jurors, and they can strike jurors for any reason or no reason at all, as long as it's not a constitutionally prohibited reason like race, religion, national origin. So combine those with the 4 cause challenges. Those are the jurors who are removed because they can't be impartial, plus the peremptories, which are the discretionary strikes. The 12 jurors that remain, those are the 12 jurors in the case. So they weren't selected, but they weren't stricken by the judge or the lawyers. And of course, with a long case like this, I wouldn't be surprised if we have 5 or 6 alternates, because the last thing you want to do is to start a trial over because you run out of jurors.
And again, it's so hard with this case. I would have to ask you, Nima, from what I perceive, because Diddy is a celebrity, a massive celebrity who's had influence for the last several decades in the music industry and beyond. How difficult is it going to be to find impartial jurors who don't have an opinion already on the music mogul?
It'll be difficult, Christina, and this is probably the biggest celebrity case, I think, maybe since Johnny Depp, probably going back to OJ. I mean, this is just such a huge case. And, you know, one issue is Diddy is so big that it doesn't matter if you move the trial from New York City to some other part of the state or even some other part of the country. Everyone in the world knows who Sean Combs is. Everyone's seen the video from 2016 of him seemingly beating ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Everyone has a view on this case already. There's not a juror in the entire country that hasn't heard something. So the judge is going to have to ask them to set all that aside and decide the case solely based on the facts and evidence and what they hear in that courtroom.
Do you think we'll hear from Cassie during this trial? Do you think she'll actually get up on the witness stand?
Christina, I do. Cassie is going to be the government's star witness. She is victim 1. She was the person who was named originally in the first indictment. Obviously, we've seen some new iterations to superseding indictments since then, but Cassie Ventura started this whole thing. Let's not forget, November 2023, New York State had opened the statute of limitations to file a civil lawsuit for some of these claims, and she was in negotiations with Combs in terms of a settlement. Reportedly, she wanted 20 or 30 million. He offered only 10 million, and she was up against the clock, so she filed a lawsuit. It was a bombshell lawsuit. I mean, the allegations were salacious. Combs settled it the next day, but at that point it was too late. It was a publicly filed document, and it really opened the door. Victim after victim came forward. They alleged similar stories of physical and sexual violence in these freak-offs, guns, violence, drugs, and then the government started investigating, and they picked up the case for criminal prosecution, of course, after Combs' homes in LA and Miami were raided. So she is the reason this case is happening. And if he's convicted, and I expect him to be convicted, I do believe it will be because of Cassie Ventura. They were dating for more than a decade. She knows where the bodies are buried, and she's going to come out. She's going to testify. And importantly, Christina, unlike some other victims, she's going to testify using her name. She hasn't asked to remain anonymous, so I think that's important as well.
And it's going to be something that we're continuing to watch here on Live Now from Fox. I think you summed up perfectly there. That lawsuit that started it all of the allegations, ending with Sean Diddy Combs behind bars, now facing these very serious federal charges. We appreciate you, legal analyst Nima Ramani, always helpful in breaking down some of these court cases.
All right, everybody, that was Fox Live Now. The link is in the chat if you'd like to come on the panel and join the Queen to give your opinion pertaining to upcoming trial Also, there's been arrest in the murder of London Thomas, teenager out of Michigan. A black female has been arrested. Let's play a little bit of that content to kill a little bit of time. Once again, the link is in the chat. If you want to come up here on the panel, you don't have to show yourself. This is an all-around live stream, Friday night vibe. We're going to be talking about just about anything. I'm going to talk to you about something personal, too, after this Sean Puffy Combs nonsense. WXYZ TV Detroit is the source pertaining to Miss London. Lord. Let's have justice for this young lady. It's terrible, terrible information.
A woman arrested and arraigned in connection with the death of London Thomas.
The 17-year-old's loved ones desperate for answers to questions about her death and what happened in the 3 weeks she was missing. Thank you for joining us. For 7 News Detroit at 5, I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Mike Duffy. It's an important update in the case we know so many of you have been following. This exclusive video showing the woman arrested and charged for lying to police officers during this investigation. 7 News Detroit with the only camera in the courtroom for arraignment.
And it's been less than a week since London's body was found in Southfield. At one point, her boyfriend was named a person of interest in her disappearance. He has not been charged.
7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wimbley questioning the defense attorney of the woman charged today. He's also speaking with London's grandmother about this break in the case.
Investigators initially had 2 people in custody with seemingly the hopes of getting homicide charges on both of them. Now they have 1 suspect in custody facing a lone lesser charge. They, however, are adamant the investigation is not over. Charlotte Pendergrass was back in custody less than 3 hours after she was released from the Inkster Police Department Friday. Pendergrass arraigned on a 4-year felony of lying to police as they investigate the death of London Thomas, the 17-year-old who went missing last month and whose body was discovered in an SUV in Southfield last week.
The defendant did knowingly and willfully make a statement or statements to the office that she knew were false or misleading, and that London Thomas left 27262 Carlisle through the front door, alive and well.
Pendergrass was taken into custody along with the 23-year-old man, believed to be a relative, last Saturday after authorities found Thomas's body. They were held for nearly a week without being formally charged. The 23-year-old man was released Friday morning without charges. Pendergrass's defense attorney, Terry Johnson.
Let's go back to a week ago. They were turned in on a homicide charge. And they were held approximately 129, 130 hours, violation of their rights. And we're going to do something. We've got this, we've got that. And they come out with lying to a police officer. I mean, they are doing nothing but grasping at straws at this point.
Meanwhile, London Thomas's family reacting to Pendergrass's criminal charge.
I could feel it in my heart when I was talking to her that she was lying. When she said that London had left.
Justina Martin says Pendergrass's relative was in a relationship with Thomas. She was last seen at a Pendergrass family home on Carlisle in Inkster, April 5th.
I want justice for my granddaughter. And I know she lying. I know she has something to do with my granddaughter's death. I believe she killed my granddaughter.
But no homicide charge has been filed against Charlotte Pendergrass. Michigan State Police says its detectives are still working with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and more charges could be announced as the investigation continues. Now, as for Pendergrass, she is facing a 4-year felony, and right now she's locked up on a $50,000 cash surety bond. The Oakland County Medical Examiner is still working to determine London Thomas's cause of death. In Inkster, I'm Randy Wimbley, 7 News Detroit.
Thank you, Randy.
All right, that's not good. So I believe this Charlotte lady is the mother, I believe. Charlotte, what do you know? And I find it interesting. The boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, however the defense attorney wants to label him, he's let go Friday. She was picked up, let go, and now she's back in custody. So some fishy mess going on here. Let me do a little Googling pertaining to Michigan. Hold on one second, everybody. I'm going to mute myself for just a second. Hold on. All right, 25 minutes, 16.8 miles between Southfield and Inkster, Michigan. Southfield sits above Inkster. Okay, and Queen remembers being in that general area. Westland. Okay, Westland is right near Inkster. Stayed in Westland for 5 weeks. January of 97. Most horrible experience of my life. Don't plan on ever reliving that again. So she's in one place and she's found in another place, found in an SUV, allegedly in the back of an SUV, someone's home driveway, which is strange. We're going to see manner of death, how long she was dead. Oh, Lord, how long she was in that truck. This is all baffling information. It's disturbing. Just goes to show you don't know people. Don't know if they were already broken up when he called her, talked to her, hey, can I come see you? Or she wanted to see him. However it went, the point she's dead. Somebody knows something. And usually more than one knows. A lot of people don't want to accept that, but you'd be surprised how many people tell people things such as, yeah, I killed somebody. Or there was an accident when there wasn't. Sean Puffy Combs. Let's go back to Queen's community page. I'm going to give you the stats pertaining to the poll. I asked you all, what will the verdict be pertaining to 90% of you said guilty. And just a few minutes ago, was at like 88% or 80%. 10% of you are unsure, 20 votes. So at the moment, 90% of you do believe 12 members of a jury will find him guilty. Once again, the link is in the chat. Feel free to come up here and chop it up with the Queen if you like. We'll go from there. Well, I don't know. I guess we will have to see what 12 members of a jury will decide. See what other news I can find. Please check out my shorts. If I don't do a live stream, I make a 15-second short pertaining to breaking news as to, chop up my time where I can do other storylines and not be so winded in the commentary. Then a month ago, they had Terrence Howard saying he tried to F him. Oh, Lord, I can't. Well, did you have sex with him, Terrence Howard? But you're going to never tell that, no way. Right. Weigh in, everybody. What's the verdict going to be? Yay or nay? What say you, Miss Stockton, Glitters and Gold? What do you think? What do you think the verdict's going to be? But once again, he has rejected the last plea deal offered to him. Third time's a charm. That's where you've got this crazy lawyer saying, well, he was a swinger. So that's the best you can come up with because he don't want to take the plea deal, don't know what the plea deal was offering. Aisha says guilty. Okay. Glitters and Gold, what say you? 10 people viewing. One person talking in the chat. Mays says he's debating going to Diddy's trial. Asks public to vote. Please, Mays, stop it. Once again, everybody, Monday the 5th will be the start of Sean Puffy Combs' trial. Now they've got some bullshit here from the Daily Mail. Sean Diddy Combs' childhood trauma exposed by best friend as disgraced mogul sex trafficking trial. Let's read that and see what new lies that are going to come up. All right, we got Gio saying guilty as well. So I got 2 guilty. I hope it's guilty. Well, I got 3 guilties. Okay, take the poll on my community page. So now they're talking about a split-level mid-century home in Mount Vernon holds dark secrets that could explain the lead-up to the gut-churning accusations that disgraced rap mogul. He's not a rapper. Please stop it. Sean Diddy Combs faces as he waits behind bars for his sex trafficking trial to kick off on Monday, This is Diddy's childhood home, where neighbors told DailyMail.com that they witnessed wild parties were thrown by his mother, Janice Combs, that could have been the inspiration for his later life of debauchery. Janice, 84, reportedly invited shady figures from her Harlem days, exposing her young son to nudity and drug use in the home. She did not respond to DailyMail.com's request for comment, but her son's attorney told Newsweek in January the motivations and credibility of people talking now must be questioned. Many claim to have knowledge, but lack any connection to the truth, while their wild, unfounded theories are cut and sensationalized to appear factual, the attorney said. And if you look at these pictures of her from probably just a couple years ago, she looks fairly young. Okay. Got some pictures of him when he was a young kid. Looked like they had a nice little home. Split level home in Mount Vernon. Looks like a nice neighborhood. Very interesting. This says Diddy's childhood home, where Janice allegedly is said to have invited lowlives from her days in Harlem, and her son saw naked people in the rooms and drug addicts when he was still young. So, Janice, were you using drugs when you were raising Sean? Okay. It says on the latest episode of DailyMail.com's The Trial of Diddy, Tim Patterson, Diddy's childhood friend, said the rapper's unstable upbringing and access to money at a young age was a recipe for trouble. I do not want to condone, and I don't condone any of the things that he's been accused of, but Sean is special to me. You know, we were big brother, little brother type of moves. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Do you want to go on record saying that? And there's no way I can sit back and allow this to happen without giving context to his life, to his story, and giving some type of understanding that he was not born a monster. In the Peacock documentary Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, Patterson further elaborated on how Sean's deranged partying habits were somewhat inherited because Sean had no dad. All he had was his mom. Sean's house, our house, there was always things going on. So basically you're saying your house was a rough house too. I'm just saying. He says, on the weekend, and we did that a lot. He was around all type of alcohol. He was around reefer smoke. He was around drug addicts, around lesbians, around homosexuals. He was around pimps and pushers. That was just who was in our house. So why do you keep saying our house? If you're just a friend, why are you specifying yourself as ours? So you were hanging at Sean's house as a child as well while all this was going on? Very interesting. He's a former music producer who worked with Sean at Uptown Records in the 1990s, claimed Diddy's hot temper came from having to protect himself from bullying from a young age. Once again, Combs known for throwing lavish white parties in East Hampton, New York, which were also attended by his mother, Janice. Patterson said Diddy, 55, was not like other children who grew up in the suburbs of Mount Vernon in the 1960s, 70s. His mother, Janice, moved the family from Harlem to the town shortly after Diddy's father, Melvin, was killed. Melvin, who was associate notorious convicted drug dealer of Frank Lucas. Wow, Frank Lucas, interesting. Was shot dead while sitting in his car in New York City at the age of 33. Okay, so Melvin was shot in his car, and he was an associate of the notorious gangster Frank Lucas. Interesting. Diddy spoke of his loss and called his father a hustler in a 2013 interview on his former network Revolt. They say you can't miss something you never had, but that's only a little ways right. That has definitely been times as I've gotten older that I've missed my father, his presence not being here, he said. There are things that you would ask your father. There's also things that you would celebrate with him that would make him proud. The move to Mount Vernon marked a dramatic contrast for Diddy, who attended Mount St. Michael Academy, an all-boys Catholic school. Well, now, the plot thickens. So we have a house that was full of riffraff, a father murdered, who was a pusher, as they would call him back in those days, dope man. And then he went to all boys school. So did any improprieties happen to Sean in the boys school, such as teacher, staff members, priests ever being inappropriate with him, other students being inappropriate, or vice versa, Sean being inappropriate with boy children at the school and or in the neighborhood or family? Let's go ahead and touch on all of that. Oh, mercy. What a piece of information here. Okay, so once again, he went to Michael Academy, Mount St. Michael Academy, all boys Catholic school. But his mother was allegedly unable to completely leave the streets behind, and she reportedly invited her friends from Harlem to come visit. Well, that usually happens with street people. Old habits die hard. They move to the next place, and then they invite the old traffic, old company. That happens just about with lots of people, honey. That ain't nothing new. Somebody says one neighbor said they remember a lot of cars on the street and people coming and going, music until late. One neighbor told DailyMail.com the trial of Diddy podcast. It was a long time ago, but I remember there were a lot of cars on the street, people coming and going, music until late. I never went, but I heard they were wild parties. Another neighbor expressed his shock at how somebody on their quiet street had become such an alleged monster, saying Diddy really messed up. I can't believe how he turned out. Patterson, who claimed he moved into Diddy's basement as a kid, in an interview for the HBO Max to follow Diddy documentary, said the rap mogul allegedly was subjected to regular bullying and beatings from his peers, while also allegedly enduring harsh discipline at home. So how were you living in Diddy's basement as a kid? Where were your parents? So this is why I guess he keeps saying our house, our house. Well, why were you living in this boy child's house with his mother? What was your situation to where you ended up having to go live in this house? This is very interesting information. So then he also says he had harsh discipline at home. He says, just to give you an example, Sean was in a quagmire because of him getting picked on. Patterson said it wasn't the way it worked in his house. You don't come back as a loser. You have to come back and win. If someone takes something from you, you get it back or you have to deal with the consequences. So Sean had to step up to the bullies sooner or later. And this was more in his adolescent years, but it got to a point where it just became too much for him. Patterson refused to comment further on the allegations, but told the trial of Diddy podcast that the missing paternal influence in Combs' young life could have been detrimental for an impressionable boy. Okay. He said Patterson declined to delve into Diddy's allegations, but said not having a father was a recipe for disaster, and that Janice allegedly had a lot of influence on him growing up. And I also believe that I read not too long ago, a couple months ago, when I did some content on this fool, they said he had talked really nasty to Janice or had cursed her. But that comes with the territory, does it not? The son is watching a lot of disrespect in a house, probably watching men disrespect the mother, who knows? And then he grows up to do the same. That's not unheard of. That's why a lot of men are abusive, because they've watched their mothers be abused by men. My dad instilled some things in me that let me know there's only but so far people can go with you, win, lose, or draw, Patterson said. And these might have been some of the things Sean could have gotten as a child had he had a father, right? In my home, there were boots and there were high-heeled shoes in the closet. In Sean's home, there were high-heeled shoes. There were no boots, so that makes sense. There was something missing from his maturing. Diddy 55 is scheduled to begin trial with opening statements May 12th, following jury selection, which will start May 5th. So on the 5th is when jury selection starts, which is Monday, and then the trial is supposed to start on the 12th. I knew it was supposed to be later than the trial started. Okay. He was indicted on racketeering conspiracy. 2 charges of sex trafficking and 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. Prosecutors alleged Combs drug coerced women in sexual activities with male prostitutes. Investigators said they found drugs and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil that were intended to be used for orgies known as freak-offs. Combs has pleaded not guilty and has vehemently denied all the allegations, and his lawyers intend to discuss the rapper's swinger lifestyle and claims the threesomes were consensual. The allegations were a shock to childhood friend Patterson, who claims Combs never showed him that side. Patterson said Combs, who was 3 years younger, was destined to become a star. Patterson points to a picture of the two in front of Combs' childhood home in Mount Vernon. Both were smiling and posing in their bell-bottom pants, but the young Combs was decked out with jewelry, a stylish bucket hat, and fancier clothing. Patterson said Combs' sense of style, talent for dancing, and knack for entertaining was influenced by, hold on one second, everybody, by the burgeoning movement of hip-hop. As he got older, as I got older, you couldn't help but not be around hip-hop because it was a culture. It was a lifestyle. It was a certain type of sneaker. It was a certain type of pants. It was a certain type of hat. It was a certain type of certain way to talk. It was a certain way to walk. And Sean, being from Harlem, he had all of this in him. He had all this flavoring. By the time he was 17, Combs landed an internship at Uptown Records and quickly rose the ranks as label's A&R director and was responsible for finding, signing, and developing musical talent, which means he did have some talent because he had a knack for picking out artists. And him going to this label so young, I didn't know he went there at 17. That's pretty impressive for a sick person, if you get my drift. As he started his trajectory to success, Combs brought on his big brother Patterson to Uptown as his intern. Combs' angry outbursts and cursing out subordinates became legendary, but higher-ups turned a blind eye because of the talent and money he brought to the label, Patterson said. He's 17, but he's got carte blanche and access to the music industry, Patterson said. Every day was a mess. He was a mess. You think he had a decorum? You think he had it together? He's 17. He never got it together at 25. Sean was just like he told you. He was the little bad boy every day. The outbursts and outrageous spending finally came to a head when Combs was fired at Uptown, Patterson said. But when Combs was quickly picked up and brokered a deal with Clive Davis's Arista Records in 1993, he was able to create Bad Boy Records. As he gained more success, Combs became untouchable as his behavior and take no prisoners attitude became more feared and celebrated, his childhood friend said. Combs was eventually celebrated in the upper echelon of society and parted with celebrated designers like Tommy Hilfiger and A-listers such as Oprah Winfrey and Donald Trump, Patterson said. Wow. Like that's something to brag about. That type of behavior doesn't stick today, Patterson said. But back then there were no examples, blueprints, no references of Puffy's. He was the first 17-year-old kid hanging with Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell, Brett Ratner, Clive Davis. He was the exception because there was no reference to him. He was so interesting to the Hilfigers. He was so interesting to the Trumps. He was so interesting to the Winfreys that this kid's got a magnetism about him, and he's the one behind these people. Patterson said 30 decades of money, power, and thinking he is invincible has caught up to Diddy. However, the former producer is certain Combs will not back down. I'm sure he's given every thought to everything, but Sean is the type who really believes he's innocent, Patterson said. He doesn't feel the things that he's accused of is what he's done. He doesn't feel that. I know him. Patterson declined to comment about the parties when contacted by DailyMail.com, and nobody answered at the door of the property. Diddy's lawyers and his office did not respond to a request for comment. Woo, baby. What do you all think about all of that? You got that right. Damn, is it? Damn. Well, do you believe Mr. Patterson? Do you think he's telling the truth about who Sean was back in the day? His attitude, being bullied, different people trafficking through Janice's house. He saw a lot of probably bad behavior, drugs, partying, sex, nudity. His mother was strict as a disciplinarian. Weigh in. See, we have to know what type of life he had with Janice because your childhood can form your adult behavior. I think most of us know this. And as I have said before about child molestation, sexual assault, a lot of child molesters were molested as children. Rapists were molested as children. So it shouldn't be a shock to any of us if indeed Sean was exposed to nudity early, nudity in magazines, video cassettes, watching people have sex, people talking dirty to each other. Somebody could have easily touched him inappropriately, showed him how to do things, and then he mimicked that behavior, and then all hell broke loose once he became an adult. He didn't put away childish things or ill behavior. He carried it with him. Glitter is what? You believe he was molested as a child? Wow. That was an interesting piece. Very interesting piece. Well, damn near 100% of you who voted believe that he will be found guilty. So what I'm wondering is who all is going to testify. I was watching some commentary the other day pertaining to the comedian, I can't think of his name, Chappelle. And he said, I've never heard of somebody going down for a RICO charge and they're the only person facing the charge. Now, I did laugh because that was funny. That's very true. Usually when you are arrested for a RICO charge or indicted for a RICO charge, there are other people who are arrested alongside you. As you saw with the Young Thug, John Gotti, different other entities that get arrested on the RICO conspiracy, there are usually other people. Exactly. He is the first person that I know of that's been arrested on a RICO charge, and he's the only damn one sitting in the damn jail. So, District Attorney, where are the other people that help Sean exact these crimes? You see, with Epstein, Miss Ghislaine, she went down with Epstein. She went on and did her time. Epstein snuffed himself out. Some believe he was murdered. You're entitled to your opinion. But where are the other co-conspirators? Who else will be testifying? Will the judge allow other women and men to testify to ill behavior exacted allegedly to them by Mr. Combs? I'm wondering. Since really this is all about Cassie Ventura and her allegations, if you did not know, the indictment is pertaining to Cassie Ventura's allegations against Sean Combs. And naturally, the infamous tape will be allowed to play in court where he assaulted her in that hotel. His lawyers did not want that tape represented. They're trying to say that it was a threesome. It wasn't a freak off. Everything's consensual. Well, he has to say that because that's the rumor by many people. He likes to invite many people to the bedroom, film them, tape them, order them around. They stupidly walk around like ducks out of water doing sexual things like their own damn camera being paid. And my thing is, what are you all getting out of it? I get it. You like to have sex. Okay. But damn, you're partying with a rock star. You're not getting no funds for do this, bend over, do this, put your mouth here. You understand what I'm saying? This is crazy to me. Oh, we're having sex with Sean. I don't need any money. Shit. Should have got all you can get. Let's look at this fiasco now. It's just a hot butter mess. And one thing that nobody fails to ever talk about in all these documentaries that they make, and I haven't watched any of them on Sean. I've bypassed every single one on Tubi and God knows where else. Nobody's ever talking about somebody coming up short besides getting STD, herpes, and chlamydia. What about HIV/AIDS? Because there's no way you're sitting here sleeping with all these people. You want me to believe you're sitting here thinking about a condom, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I didn't hear there was a box of 1,000 plastic baggies of condoms. So with all this baby oil lying around that they found during the raids, where were the condoms? Where were the boxes of morning after pills? Come on now. And I'm telling you, there are a lot of men out here, different races. They are into this threesome stuff. Threesome, foursomes. As I've told you all, I've shared with you all on this network before of a male that I know of who likes to have two women in the bedroom. He even said, if I meet a lady, I want her to be down with being with another woman. And I thought, why? I just like it. I just thought, no, you're just a freak. That's all. Come on. Jesus Christ, give it a rest. It's like that to me, that's a person that just can't be fulfilled. And I think that's evident with R. Kelly, P. Diddy. They're both the same. They're both been accused of child molestation, messing with kids, messing with men, boys. There's not enough sex acts you can perform where they're going to be pleased. That's why it wouldn't shock me if either of them have had sex with animals. Because as I've told you, there's only so far you can take this sleeping with a man, sleeping with a woman, sleeping with children. Nothing left but sleeping with an animal and murder. That's it. Sleeping with an animal and killing a person. It ain't nothing left. It ain't nothing left to try. But you want to throw in bungee jumping, skydiving, but you see where I'm going. You're not fulfilled sexually. That's the reason why a lot of these men are into porn, videotapes, videos, self-masturbation. picking up prostitutes, picking up strange women, picking up any woman they meet. Man, they can't be fulfilled sexually. You've heard a lot of women talk about men like that you can't give him enough. You can't give him enough. He wants to keep going till you're damn near you're chafing down there because the person don't want to stop. And it's like, what is it? You need to see a damn doctor. There's nothing wrong with having a sex drive, but Jesus Christ, you've got to go to sleep sometime. Girl, you a fool. Glitter say you possessed. Girl, you a fool. What you say? Girl, I'm so tickled. I gotta have a drink on that one. Lord have mercy. Girl, you a fool. But guess what? Hell, I'm gonna put that on a poll. Hold on a minute. Shit, damn. And what you say, Willis? Woo! And I'm gonna put that too. I'm gonna say a fan said. Girl, you done made my night. She said he possessed. But you know what? When you think about it, you have to be at some point, because it's just like what I said. They're not getting fulfilled. It's obvious. Baby oil, threesomes, ordering people around, filming them, pulling their hair, yanking them, punching them. You're having sex with a man. You're having sex with a woman. Damn, what else do you want? You're using drugs. You're high on the alcohol. It's like, it's a level. Step up until you're on the top of the fucking Eiffel Tower ready to jump off. That's all this is about with these men. They can't get enough. It's what I call walking the tightrope. That's what I wanted to say. Ain't nothing left but walking the tightrope. Shit, and then death. Because you can't get enough. You just keep going on and on and on. How far can I take it? How far can I take it? How far can I take it? Oh, girl, I'm going to do it when I get off this live, Glitters. Thank you. I'm going to do it when I get off this live. Take me a nice little shower and pour me a nice little toddy. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the poll. Girl, you got me so damn tickled right now. That just made my night, though. I'm going to say, a fan said in chat that Puffy is possessed. Girl. Do you agree? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord have mercy. Girl, that is so damn funny. Because that's how he acts. R. Kelly, too. They act like they're possessed. Hold on. Hold on. Let me reword this. I'll send the chat live. All right, you get your three options. You get a yes. You get a no. And you're not sure. Hold on. Shoot. No. Not sure. Three options, everybody. Yes, no, and not sure. Is Puffy possessed? I know his penis ought to be tired. I know that. Him and R. Kelly's both. Their penises ought to have shriveled up by now. Especially getting high, drinking drugs, all that stuff. I want to see how they damn work. Should be a good poll. Yes, it's a very good poll. So take the poll. Let's see what we got next. Anybody it's gone down now. About 6 more people have voted. What was 90% is now 88% guilty. And then 12% unsure as far as a guilty verdict for Sean. 88% of you believe he will be found guilty. Let me tell you something I saw earlier pertaining to a man marrying 3 women. So I'm going to just be all over the place during this live. I'm not going to just stick with Sean Puffy Combs because it's something I want to share with you all. But I'm going to share it with you all after this video that I'm getting ready to play that I found in the queue tonight. If you need to verify it, it's on my community page. ABC Action News is the source. So obviously this black man's been running around pretending to be P. Diddy, putting his penis everywhere. Obviously, he likes white women because he got one white woman blurred out and then another white woman's talking. So his preference is white women. Hell, maybe he knows Shannon Sharp. No disrespect, but you see the mess Shannon Sharp got himself into. This black man it's got 3 wives in 3 counties. Let's roll with it, everybody. Hot damn. Here we go. Wonder how they all found out. Shut your mouth.
Marrying 3 Florida women in 3 different counties at the same time. Tonight, those women are speaking out, saying the system that handles marriage licenses kept them in the dark.
There are no safeguards, and that I feel like that's part of where this has failed.
Woman 1,
Each one of us to a county.
woman 2,
If the counties did talk,
woman 3,
that would have saved me a lot of heartache,
2 blondes, 1 dark haired.
a lot of stress.
I-Team investigator Adam Walser breaks down how this could happen at a time when online records can be viewed with a few clicks of a mouse.
A wedding usually signifies a lifetime commitment between 2 people embarking on life's journey. But these 3 Florida women learned they were on the same journey with Henry Betsy Jr. at the same time. This is Henry's mugshot, which is the most recent and clear picture we have of him. Michelle married Henry in Hernando County in November 2020.
And how about this? He's a black man, bald-headed with green eyes. Shut your mouth. Well, my grandfather, he was a dark-skinned man with green eyes. He wasn't my biological grandfather, but he had green eyes, and all his children had green eyes. It's the most crazy phenomenon. But there are black people who have light color eyes. I'm sure some of you have seen them, green, hazel. But yes, this black man has green eyes. Go figure.
Me too.
I met him on Match.com. We met in early November.
How soon did you marry Henry?
It was very short. It was very soon. It was within about 3 weeks span.
Henry was still married to...
Okay, wait a minute. Nice-looking blonde-haired lady meets this goon, and you marry him within 3 weeks? Wow, wow, wow.
Brandy, who married him in Manatee County that February. Brandy asked us not to show her face to protect her job.
I met him on a dating app. First time I'd ever got on a dating app. He said all the right things.
When Brandy married Henry, he was still married to Tanya, who obtained a marriage license in Gadsden County in November 2020.
That's the first lady.
Tanya asked us to blur her face because she's a domestic violence survivor.
Hold on, let's go to something. We're going to go back.
Hernando County in November 2022.
I met him on Match.com. We met in early November.
How soon did
That's
you
woman number
marry
1.
Henry?
It was very short. It was very soon. It was within about 3 weeks span.
Henry was still married to Brandy, who married him in Manatee County that February. Brandy asked us not to show her face to protect her job.
I met him on a dating app. First time I'd ever got on a dating app. He said all the right things.
When Brandy married Henry, he was still married to Tanya, who obtained a marriage license in Gadsden County in November 2020. Tanya asked us to blur her face because she's a domestic violence survivor.
Meeting him on a dating site, and the way he portrayed himself, he sold the perfect person when in reality he was none of those things.
I'm Mr. Bessie, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to make testimony you giving the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, sir.
Michelle gave us cell phone videos of court hearings. Henry Betsy Jr. was arrested for felony bigamy last year after Tanya figured out she wasn't his only wife.
I just started county by county putting his name in, and that's when I came up with the marriage to Michelle and the marriage to Brandy.
She found me and she messaged me, and I had no idea that she was actually still married to him.
I'm just looking because it's so bizarre we never get discharged.
The wives say marrying Henry was easy.
You go to the records division, you apply for a marriage license, they take your information, they take a copy of your photo ID, and we got married right there at the courthouse. No questions asked. There was nothing that was flagged in the system for him having already 2 prior open marriage license.
I did the paperwork and got married all within 15 minutes.
In Pinellas County, 2,000 people get married at courthouses each year. There is a 72-hour waiting period for Florida residents, but that can be waived by a judge, and there is no required wait for people from other states. Pinellas County Clerk Kim Burke says Florida makes it easy to get married because the state is a big wedding destination.
Does it surprise
I didn't know
you
that.
that someone was able
Thought it's
to
Vegas.
be married to 3 different people in 3 different Florida counties at
Exactly.
the same time?
Exactly.
Well, it does surprise me, but unfortunately, there's not really safeguards to find that out.
Burke says marriage applications are based on the honor system.
They swear that the information on the application is correct. And one of the things they have to show is that if they were married previously, how did the marriage end? Either was death, divorce, or annulment.
But licenses and marriage certificates aren't compared to documents in other counties when they're sent to the state.
Because if there were safeguards in place and there was cross-referencing on different counties here in the state of Florida, none of this would have ever happened.
Exactly.
His wives, who met Henry on Match, Tinder, and Stir, recently found his profile on another dating
Wow.
site while he was still legally married to them.
Looking for a beautiful woman that understands the ups and downs of life, is trustworthy, and no games.
His wives say they later came to believe their marriages had more to do with money
Exactly.
than love.
The day we got married, he was like, well, we need to make your bank account a joint bank account. But
We were either divorced or about to be divorced, maybe coming into something.
Child support, alimony, anything that comes with, the extra perks of marrying a newly single divorced woman.
So he hit the jackpot here.
He did, 100%.
Henry's financial situation appears to have taken a turn for the worse.
You have any source of income presently? No, sir. You have any money in the bank?
He ain't got no job.
Michelle and Tanya say they
Oh,
escaped
God.
their marriage and obtained domestic violence orders after Henry became abusive. Brandy says she kicked Henry out of her house after just 5 days of marriage. Henry finally filed for
5
divorce
days.
from Tanya following his arrest and is now seeking annulment for his marriages to Michelle and Brandy.
Do you
Yay.
think there's any need to do anything else to prevent this type of thing?
I just think it's too hard. I mean, as much as we have records and so forth, people are very transient. You can get divorced in another state.
Henry's wives are hoping he'll be convicted and spend time behind bars.
It's a potential that he may just walk away with probation. And that's what's really hurtful, is there's no accountability. There's nothing that is going to stop him from doing this again.
Henry Betsy Jr. has pleaded not guilty to the felony bigamy charge and has another court hearing later this month. We reached out to him, but he declined through his attorney to comment. I'm my team investigator Adam Walser with
All right. Well, the state needs to have a cross-reference, just like what you're doing with crime, DNA. You commit certain crimes, now they're taking your DNA. You know why they're doing that? Because there's so many people, as you just said, are transients. They move from place to place, and they commit more crimes. And law enforcement can't find them, catch them. So if your DNA is in the database, it pops up in Minnesota, the DNA of a guy, woman, then they go look for that suspect there. Okay? So marriage, same thing. It needs to be a state database to show that you got married, you got divorced. It needs to show up. So if you go to the courthouse today trying to get a marriage license, it will show that you are either currently married to Ray Ray Bubba or you divorced Ray Ray Bubba and whoever else. Marrying someone so soon. Should these women be accountable for marrying too soon? Putting their bank accounts with his. Does he have children? Any children? Does he owe child support to any woman in the United States? See, I thought he probably would be marrying them for the ultimate reason. Money, scam. Get their personal information, apply for a line of credit, credit cards, things like that, and then steal their money, then poof, be with them for a minute, then disappear, go to the next lady. That's what a lot of these scam men usually do. They marry a woman who's got a nice income, good credit. He gets her personal information, and next thing you know, he's on the road traveling, picking up the next lady. As I've brought you content about love fraud and different men who've been accused of scamming women and using their social security number to get a line of credit and woo the next woman with the last woman's money. Just crazy nonsense. One of those guys got caught right here in Knoxville, Tennessee at the mall. Love Fraud. Please check that TV show out on Showtime. You can probably get 1 or 2 episodes free off of YouTube if you want to inquire about that fraudster. Can't remember his name, but he's a white male. And I really believe that he's homosexual because if you listen to his interview in jail, he acts very feminine. And I think he's camouflaging marrying these women, but he's a homosexual. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, Pookie too. Let's read some of the comments because you know they're going to be vicious. Okay? You know they're going to be vicious. Ma'am, this is what Charlie J had to say. Ma'am, you failed to use wisdom and discernment and married a man you only knew for 3 weeks. That is why this happened. It did not happen because the state of Florida makes marriage simple and easy. Absolutely no accountability at all. 3 replies. This, next person, exactly. Next person. This was Michelle's 3rd marriage. She ditched 2 adopted children and 2 blood children for this man. Trust me, I know this because I had a child with her back in 2000. Shaking my head. Oh my goodness, Sean Sharp has gotten on here to reply. Michelle's husband, ex-husband. Did y'all hear that? 35 minutes ago, he responded. He said this was Michelle's 3rd marriage. She ditched 2 adopted children and 2 blood children for this man. Trust me, I know this because I had a child with her back in 2000. Well, then that child will be now 25. And he said, shaking my head. I don't know if this is guys telling the truth, that he knew Michelle, but hot damn. Now, Jules says, there's no accountability for men either to just not scam women. Exactly. Because you can get scammed even if you've known the guy 6 months, a year, 2 years. You get with him, set up shop, next thing you know, you're getting bonked in the head and now you're missing. So I don't think there's a timeline. I agree. Yes, you probably do need to get to know a man before bedding him, sleeping with him, spending money on him, giving him money, setting up shop, setting up house. But the point is, there are many people who have been duped, mistreated by others, vice versa, men and women, who they thought they knew the person. You heard the countless of stories of women who've been in marriages for 25, 35 years. The husband's a notorious cheater, abuser, gaslighter, got kids over here, over there, can't keep a job or kept a job, and he was just a fucking dog. And they may have known each other for years, dated from high school, so on and so forth. The point is you don't know people, you don't know the human mind. And I tell you, don't even try, because your head will hurt. R8119 says, I'm just here for the comments. 8 hours ago. Oh, Lord have mercy. Wait a minute. One reply. Me too, says Sippy Doo. Another person says me too. Lord. Another person. I'm 100% sure there were red flags. Run background checks. Well, there is a flag, sweetheart. Somebody's beating you up. Remember the one lady said 5 days in, she filed for divorce? Or restraining order? 5 days. No, she said she kicked him out after 5 days. So 5 days, he's beating her up. How do you beat somebody up 5 days after moving into their house? But see, that's another thing I've said on my shorts. Please check out my shorts where I'm talking about dating the other night. My father always told me you need to get to know where a man lives. You need to know where he lives, where he sleeps. And that's very true. And I'm going to share a story with you that I've been promising you for almost an hour now. I'm going to share a story about that. Why you need to know where a person lives. And then somebody smart ass said you get the same black man. I don't know what that means. Somebody says, and he had stamina for 3. He needs to write a dating guide for men because I thought guys were struggling for dates out there. Now we've just stopped trying. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Then somebody says, because those are the types y'all all want. Life is funny that way. Choose people based on character, not looks, money, or insecurity, and things usually turn out better. Well, who's to say he had any money for them to pick him? Somebody says, I was looking for this comment. Then somebody else says to Penny Fourier, of course you were. Misery loves company. Okay. So they're starting to get a little ignorant. Then somebody says, free him. He didn't commit no crime. Another person, blame the court system instead of taking responsibility for their own decisions. Somebody else says, that one woman is wanting the state to save her from herself. Come on, lady. You met him on a dating site and then married him less than a month. Why should our tax dollars pay for your lack of responsibility? Wow. 2 replies. Sean Sharp says, my life story. Michelle put the state on me for 22 years, a little over 50 grand for child support for my daughter she would never let me see. Then somebody else says, bingo, stupid game, shaking my head. Well, I'm going to stop there and share my story. I didn't know if I wanted to share this or not because, you have to be very careful what you say up here on this box because some of you just get your panties all in a knot when the story is not about you. It's about Queen. As I've said in my shorts are entertainment. 15 seconds of me bringing you breaking news or my personal commentary about the said subject. Me talking about my dating life is not really that serious because, one, it is what it is. I'll either meet somebody or I don't. I'm not getting ready to jump off a bridge. I'm not getting ready to kill myself. So that's that. So my little 15 seconds of the shorts, me poking fun at myself, but also me being somewhat serious too. If you feel the need that it's affecting you so badly, you probably don't need to respond because in the end, it's my journey. So here's my journey. Today, I got a text message from someone saying they were trying to contact me and I hadn't answered my phone. So when I finally got up, I texted the person, told them, hello, good afternoon. I didn't see your call. How are you? Hope you have a great day, blah, blah, blah. Just returning the text, being civil. And yes, this is a male. So the next text he sent was to the effect that somebody might try to contact me and not to say anything and act professional. Stop sign. Right there. I knew there was bullshit. I thought, I've met you all of 5 seconds Wednesday night. Was not expecting anything to come from it because I never dialed his number, never called him since Wednesday. Not even once. Never called, never texted. I don't even think I had the number because I think he took my number. He might have dialed my number that night, I guess, just to make sure it was my, I was giving him the right number, but I never called the phone. Today is my first time having any contact with this male. Let me make that clear. What pissed me off is that you're trying to tell me after you acting like you're getting an attitude because I didn't respond to your first phone call, okay, which would have been what? Thursday, that I told him I didn't see, whatever, okay? So I let him know I didn't see it, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I returned the conversation by text today to let him know, hey, see where you called, where you texted, hello, blah, blah, blah. So then he goes into talking about if a woman calls, act professional, this and that. So at this point, I'm pissed because I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. I was already turned off by his behavior Wednesday anyway, because I had mentioned this in the short. This touchy-feely stuff while we were out. First of all, you sit down all of 30, 40 minutes, gabbing, talking, trying to watch the game, rubbing my arm as if we're together and we're not. Never offered a drink. Finally, I asked for some chicken wings. He bought it. Had to follow me over to the place, to the little cubby hole where you go to pay for it. Just was on me, white on rice, which I thought was just so bizarre because I was like, what does he think I'm going to do? Take him home? Which I wasn't interested like that. I was out to have a good time, enjoy myself, and that's what I did. And I went home alone. Yes, I did. Had no further contact with him until today, Friday. Long story short, I was perturbed by the text message telling me somebody might try to call my phone. So I knew what time of day it was. I thought, oh, he must have a girlfriend or a wife, whichever. Well, lo and behold, who you think calls Queen today? After he sends that text and I sent him a voice clip. Because I texted, the hello, how you doing? And then I sent the voice clip telling them, hey, I was asleep or whatever. I said, I can't really remember. But I said, oh, thank you for the chicken, whatever. So then he called me. And he was talking fast, and I was saying, look, slow down. I said, who's going to be calling my phone? Why would somebody be calling my phone when, one, this is a new number, a private number? Nobody should be calling Queen's number. So he was trying to overtalk me, and you should already know that wasn't going to fly with the Queen. I said, no, baby. You got time to text. You got time to listen to what the hell I have to say. I don't care about you being at work. Why would a woman be calling my phone? I didn't give my number to a woman, so why would a woman be calling my phone? So then he was like, well, just act professional and da-da-da-da-da, and I'll explain it to you later. I'll tell you about it later. I said, oh, no, it ain't no later. So this is what I said, because I told myself I was going to work on my disposition and my delivery. I said to him, I said, you know what? I ain't about to do this. Thank you for the chicken. And I hung up the phone. Yes, Glitters. He has a wife, allegedly. Ring, 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 ring. I don't know how long it was after I hung up with him that my phone got a phone call from an unknown number. And I let it ring for a little while, and I rang, got it. And then I answered it, sat down at my little desk, and she started talking. She called me by my name. She said, hello, is this Angela? I already knew what time of day it was. I said, yes, this is she. And she was like, I'm calling to talk to you about my husband. And she mentioned his name. She mentioned 2 different names that he goes by. And then I just let her talk. And then she said, he bought you some chicken from Bojangles. And I started laughing to myself. I said, no, he did not buy me any chicken from Bojangles. I said, look at here. Just slow down, ma'am. Just slow down. I said, let me make this clear to you. I don't know him. We're not dating. There is nothing going on. So you don't have to call this number again because there's nothing going on. So she just kept going on and on and on, saying, well, don't you call my husband anymore? I said, let me tell you something. Ain't nobody called your husband. Ain't nobody called your husband. Exactly. And I hung up. Because I'm not going to sit here and argue with somebody about a stranger that I met. I've seen his face before in the community, years ago, which I explained it to him when we talked, the other night when I was out. I've seen you around the way, blah, blah, blah. It was just like mediocre conversation. I didn't like his conversation then. And I can't remember when I gave him the number, if it was before I got turned off or after. I don't know, but he was pressuring me so much I felt stupid, giving out the number because, I had a little drink or two. So I was trying to remember, when did you give him the number? But I know definitely after I gave the number, I was utterly turned off because he just kept rubbing my arm, then worrying about where I live. And I was like, why? And that's why I was turned off. Because number one, he never said he had a girlfriend or a wife. He never, I didn't like all that touchy-feely. That was a turn off to me because he seemed desperate. The fact that he kept wanting to know where I lived. The fact that I asked him, well, where do you live? Because I asked him that first. I said, well, where do you live? He told me, don't worry about that. It don't matter. And see, right there, that did it for me. I was like, excuse me? I say, it does matter. You're sitting here asking me personal questions about myself. What do you mean? Why should I not know where you live? No, it don't matter. It don't matter. I'm like, yeah, it does matter. So see, right there, I was turned off because my daddy told me that many moons ago. You need to know where a man lives. You can't find out where he lives. He won't tell you where he lives. There ain't no need of you talking to him. And that's really common sense, okay? You don't need somebody having your phone number, your address, knowing where you work, personal things about you in a conversation, but then you're asking somebody the same pertinent information and they don't want to share. Then what do you have? You don't even have anything starting out. So see, the bells went off while we're just sitting there talking. And the fact that he wanted to just keep following me around instead of him just getting up when he was ready to go home. No, what is he asking me? What are you doing? What you getting ready to do? How long are you going to stay here? I said, well, I'm going to stay here and talk to my little friend for a while. Basically letting them know you need to get on. You got to go to work. You got to somewhere you need to be. Then get on. You ain't got to sit here and try to hang with me. I'm not trying to hang with nobody. Then he was like, oh, can I walk you to your car? Da, 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 da. I wanted him to go because 1, I didn't send for him. 2, I didn't come with him. And 3, I wasn't leaving with him. and he wasn't leaving with me. Let me tell you what this stupid fucking woman said to me, because I left this part out. She had the nerve to start the conversation off with, I don't even know how I forgot this. She said, well, he is married. She said, that's my husband. He's married and he's homeless. Say what? That lady is really lucky that I didn't give her ass the business. What the fuck do you look like calling my number to ask about a man that's supposed to be your husband, but he's homeless? Well, if he's homeless, then what do you care about what he's doing and who he's talking to? That don't even make no sense. How can he be homeless, but he's married to you? Help Angela understand. Because I'm confused. And I'm telling you, it took everything out of me not to curse her out. Because she kept, going on and on, trying to make it something that it wasn't. And that's what I'm just trying to tell this stupid ass heifer without being disrespectful to her. I said, ma'am, you can stop talking because there's nothing going on. Let me make that clear to you. So you don't have to keep talking. I don't know him. We're not dating. It's nothing. And what I wanted to say to her is, what do you look like calling me about a homeless person, allegedly, that you're married to? Do you know how stupid this conversation sounds? So guess what? Tonight, I've been sitting here enjoying myself, looking at YouTube, listening to my music. I got a message. And I thought, well, which one of these motherfuckers then decided to call Queen to keep the conversation going about absolutely nothing? So I go into the message system. He's out of breath, panting like a Rottweiler. Call me, girl. Call me, girl. I got to talk to you. Answer the phone. Answer the phone, girl. Honey, I went right in. Delete. Negro, if you don't get your ass on somewhere. I knew he was trouble. I knew it. Even this morning when I woke up and saw that he had left 2 messages, my spirit said, don't respond to him. But I only responded because I wanted to be respectful to get, to put out in the universe what I rarely get back from these trifling ass men in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? Because I've met a few men who took my number, maybe 2, a couple months ago. They took my number. Then the next time I tried to call them, hell, they had blocked me. And I was like, why are you blocking me? We haven't even had a conversation, which is strange. Okay, so, one guy you talk to all of 5 minutes, then he blocks you. And then the next guy you meet, he blocks you just from one encounter meeting. Nothing happened. We just met, talked, exchanged numbers. Then next day, block your number. Okay, so I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to let this guy just send messages, call, because that's what he was saying. Like, I almost gave up on you. I tried calling you. You didn't answer. You didn't respond. That was the message he sent, the first text. So then the next text comes in, hey, just trying to say good morning to you. So that's why I responded, was to be civil. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Expect marriage and a baby carriage in a phone conversation. I wasn't expecting nothing from him because, like I said, his vibe was off Wednesday night with all that touchy, not wanting to tell me, where he lived, but he kept on asking me where I stayed. And then, I had told him what side of town I lived on foolishly. And then he kept, he started talking about his childhood, where he grew up. And then he kept saying, well, do you live near there? Do you live near there? Do you live near there? And I just thought that was just so suspicious. And I was like, man, don't tell this guy nothing because he's giving me the creeps. He just was creeping me out. So that's why when that night ended, I went my way. He went his. And that was the end of the conversation. I did not talk to him. I did not text to him. My first time talking to him is today. And look at what all came with it. I'm going to give you my assertion of what I think happened. Don't you find it strange that he calls once that Thursday, then he texted 2 times today. I responded back, hey, how you doing? He finally called me after I texted. And I was talking to him about, who is this person that's supposed to be calling me? Nobody should have my number. I don't appreciate you giving out my number or somebody snooping through your phone. I don't got time for this. And then I thanked them for the chicken, hung up. It wasn't even probably not even 2 hours later, this woman is calling me. It made me feel like it was some type of game because he had to have shown her the phone or told her he talked to me or met me, because how would she know about the chicken? That don't even make no sense, because I only responded to that today. He was allegedly at work when I texted him and when he called me. So do you all follow what I'm saying? If he's at work in the afternoon, 2 something in the afternoon, how is she knowing about our conversation? Unless he went home shortly after we spoke and maybe laid his phone down and she picked it up and heard my voice clip about me thanking him for the chicken. That's the only thing I can think of. Or he told her, hey, I met this lady, I bought her something to eat, blah, blah, blah. My thing is, however it went, it's all ignorant, because number one, you didn't have no business asking for my number, and you know that you are married or you have a girlfriend, whatever the situation is. That's first and foremost. Number two, she's going through your phone. If you know she's that type of person, once again, you shouldn't be putting women's numbers in your phone with their name. Duh. But like I said, I don't know how it went. I just know that when I spoke to him, he told me he couldn't talk because he was at work. So I found it strange. Like I said, I wasn't counting the clock, but maybe less than 2 hours, she's calling me. And I just found it strange. She's talking about this chicken business. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I just got off the phone with this fool. What did he do? Go back and tell her what conversation we had? Why would he do that? But you have some weak-minded men who would do that to make a woman jealous. The point is, she had to have seen the phone. She had to have seen that he tried calling me, because he did say he tried to call me. And I said, well, I didn't see where you called. So she had to have seen that, I guess, probably Thursday. And then the voice clip I sent today. So my thing is, how would she know about the voice clip if he was at work? Some funny duddy shit going on between these two knuckleheads. I don't want no parts of it. I'm done with it. After she called me, I blocked her, deleted her number, and I had did the same for him. I blocked and deleted his number. I don't have time for this nonsense. This is just so fucking stupid to me. Just outright stupid. I think she went through his phone. Well, it was either that or he told her. I just found it strange. She was calling me shortly after I had just got off the phone with him, because I'm assuming he was at work. I'm not here to say that he lied. I mean, he could have lied. He could have not even been at work. For all I know, he could have called me when she stepped out. You know, she could have stepped out. And I can't remember if I heard, anything in the background that sounded like a work job or something. I can't really remember, but I just took it at face value that he was at his job, because he said, well, I can't talk right now. I'll talk to you later. So I assumed he was at work. But for all we know, Glitters, he could be lying. He could have been at that woman's house, hung up the phone, laid the phone down, forgot about it. She went through it. And then shortly after that, she calls me, because it was not that long after that conversation with him, she called me. So I don't know. All I know is, Sugar, Queen don't want your husband. Let me make that clear to you. Big girl don't want him. And another thing he said I didn't like that night at the little place where we go, where I go out through the week, because I'm all over the place in this live, so excuse me. When he first sat down, he started talking, we spoke, making light conversation. And I told him, yeah, I remember you. You look familiar. Because at first I said, oh, are you from Memphis? You look like you're from Memphis. He says, oh, do I favor somebody from Memphis? I was like, no, I just thought that's where you were from. So, we're just chit-chatting. And so then he said, you're very nice looking, woo, woo, woo. And then he says, I've got a secret. And I says, oh, I don't want to hear it, because I knew it was going to be something stupid. So he's like, no, let me tell you. And I was like, no, I don't want to hear it. So then finally he waited a little while after we kept chit-chatting, and he said, I got a secret I got to tell you. He said, I have never talked to a plus-size woman before, a bigger woman. And I was like, what? I was like, wow, that's really something to say to a lady. And he was like, oh, I didn't mean no harm. I said, yeah, but that's fucked up. So then he started talking about, the curvatures of women, you know, the 26 bosom, 36 hip stuff. And I was just like, okay, where is this going? He said, well, you know, that's the ideal size that we're supposed to like in women and I was started ignoring him because at this point I was just, like I told you, I just turned all the way off with that first comment about the plus size women. I ain't never been with a plus size woman. Then he had the nerve to say, oh, I didn't mean any harm. I'm sorry. I like women. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, yeah, but you do have a preference. You like smaller women, which that is your preference. I said, but frankly, you ain't had to tell me you ain't never been with a bigger woman. You could have kept that to your damn self. Oh no, that just turned me off. Yeah, just rude. Exactly. And that's the point of what it is like being out here as a black woman trying to meet and greet men. You can't even get to stage 2 because they don't even know how to talk. They say the stupidest stuff, the dumbest stuff, the rudest stuff, all in your business, wanting to know everything about you. But then you ask the same question, you can't get no response. I don't want to talk about that. That's none of your business. You can't tell somebody, you know, it's none of their business or it's not important where you live, and you're sitting here expecting the same response. You don't have no right to ask me where I live. You don't have no right, matter of fact, to ask me where I live, what I do for a living, how many kids I got, don't got, what I drive, don't drive, what side of town I live on. If you're not going to give the same answers and respond to the same questions, then you don't have a right to ask me any of those questions. And that's just how I feel. And it's hard being out here as a black woman wanting to date a black man because a lot of these black men, it's just the truth. They do not have their lives together. They don't have their shit together. Even now you have more men working, more black men working because they don't have no other fucking choice but to work because ain't nobody getting ready to hold their asses up and take care of them. But they still live with other people. Mama, cousin, sister, girlfriend, baby mama, ex-wife, ex-girlfriend. The shit is still jacked up. And yes, I know there's some women out here, all races, white women, Hispanic, Jewish, Indian, natives, they have the same problems. And I tell myself that all the time when I see different women who are beautiful, professional, they got great jobs, nice homes, cars. They're pining too, wondering, where's my soulmate? Where's my mate? Where is that perfect guy? Well, we know there is no perfect guy. And when I look at how people act and how they talk, I realize why there are a lot of women who are single. Because a lot of men, they just don't have any conversation. Everything is sexual in nature. Everything is about, what do you like to do? I like this. I want to do this. It's like, damn, you don't even know my social security number. You want to know what I like to do in the bed? Or you going to tell me what you like to do in the bed? I mean, those are things you don't even say to a stranger. What do you like to do? I like to go to the ATM. That's what I like to do. See, give a stupid response to a stupid question. Because there's a way of talking to a female. Now, I think a lot of men, just from what I'm seeing in this new wave of living, this Generation X behavior and tongue, a lot of these men are street men and they want street women. And I will say that because I've seen a lot of women that act like street women. They expect all women to act that way and talk that way. They'll down them and dog them out. But if you can just go up to a complete stranger, sit beside her, she say hello, you say hello. He asks you where you from, and you say, oh, I'm from Toledo, Ohio, wherever. And then the next conversation is sexual in nature. What's the point? Well, that lets me know that's how you talk to every woman. So what's special about me? And then let me tell you something else that was crazy. He was sizing me up. You understand what I'm saying? He was looking me up and down like, ooh, yeah, you cute. See, I hate that shit. That's what black men say to plus size women. They're cute. Motherfucker, I'm 54 years old. I'm not cute. I am beautiful. What the fuck you talking about? Cute. You know how many times I've heard men say that to me over the years, even when I was younger and smaller? You're cute. You're cute. No, motherfucker, I'm beautiful. I'm pretty. Hell, say attractive, something. You're cute. I've heard so many black men use that word for plus size women. She cute. She got a pretty face. Oh, she got a big body, but she got a pretty face. Ain't this a bitch? So then he kept going on and on. Yeah, you're cute. Yeah, you dress nice too. Yeah, you got it going on. Yeah, you're looking real good in your clothes. I mean, just sizing me up. Then he just kept rubbing my arm. And I was like, will you please stop? What's going on? I said, why do you keep touching me? Oh, you so soft. You always been this soft? Hell yeah, I've been this soft. I said, you know who you should be thanking? My mom and my daddy. I'm pretty, smell good, soft, look good because of my mom and my daddy. I was thinking in my head at the time, this is where I wish I could disappear. Jesus, zap me up out this room. I was having a good time until this person came and sat beside me with this damn bullshit. I have said this so many times. I don't know what it is about me. I attract the worst human beings. And it seems like every time I go in that damn place on Wednesday nights, this is the bullshit I attract. This is the bullshit I get. I've always got somebody saying something out of the way. There's always a guy making a smart comment. I got a bitch talking crazy about absolutely nothing and nonsense. It's like, what in the hell is the universe trying to tell me? Stop going in there, queen. But I like my little spot, you know what I'm saying? Because I like to go. The bartender makes the drinks right on occasions. It's good camaraderie. I get to see people I haven't seen in a while. So, it's just out having a good time. It's not to go to get, plastered drunk or nothing like that because, I watch my drink limits. I go to have a good time. Something to do through the week because, I don't go out on the weekends. So that's all Wednesday nights are about to me. Now, what he was there for, I don't know. Was he looking for a woman? Could be. Pick somebody up. I don't know. It's not my concern. It's obvious I wasn't into him because I made no attempt to try to talk to him after we parted ways. So 2 days later, obviously he was trying to contact me. And I didn't want to respond because I told myself, if you respond, you'll be opening up Pandora's box. And then the next time he tries to call you, you don't answer. He's then going to send another text and be like, what's the matter? I'm trying to call you, blah, blah, blah. And then what excuse are you going to come up with? But I went ahead and responded, civilly. Hey, how you doing? Have a great day. Thinking that was going to be the end of the conversation. When he texted the second text about somebody's going to be probably trying to contact you, don't say anything. Don't say you know me. Don't tell them nothing about me. I said, wait. Hold the fuck up. I don't know you. What are you talking about? This is the craziest conversation with another two-legged creature. You telling me act professional when this complete stranger calls me. Oh, she's going to be calling from an 808 number, blah, blah, blah. So I went and Googled 808. That's fucking Hawaii. Well, guess what? She didn't call me from Hawaii. She didn't call me from a Hawaii telephone number. She called me from an 865 number. I'm just telling you that whole text message was strange. And then when he finally called me, and was going on and on about this mystery woman, and I'll tell you about it later, and don't say nothing to her, act professional. I said, hold up, dude. You don't tell me how to talk and act. I said, who texts a person some bullshit like this? Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. I've been trying to contact you. I was going to give up on you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, by the way, if a woman calls your phone, don't say nothing. Don't tell her this. Who puts that in a text? So hell yeah, I sent the voice clip like, what the hell are you talking about? Why would somebody be calling me? I said, I gave my number to you. I didn't give my number to somebody else. So nobody else should be calling my phone. I said, who is this, one of your women friends or whatever? I was like, dude, I ain't got time for this. I don't got time for none of this. You got shit you got going on. I'll let that be clear. So I guess he felt like, oh, I better try to soothe it over. Let me call her. So he calls me. And I gave his ass the business. And he was trying to overtalk me. But I did him just the way I did his fucking wife. I said, wait, hold up. This my shit. This my number. My number is private. Okay? You don't text me and then call me and try to run me and tell me what I'm supposed to say to some mystery person that you don't even want to tell me who they are. And I'm supposed to tell her, oh, I don't know him. I don't know nothing about him. I said, well, I really don't. It's not like I'd be lying. I don't know you. I said, but it's just the principle You trying to orchestrate me first through a text, and then once I left the voice clip, now you want to call, and you still don't want to tell me the truth about who this woman is. I said, well, I'll just use deduction. That's your girlfriend. Y'all live together, because how would she know about the chicken? We're having a fucking stupid conversation about some fucking chicken wings. Are you serious? It's bullshit. Yeah, it's very weird. No, it's just what's out here in the street. We just have men who don't have their shit together. They're not level-headed. They're not goal-oriented. They don't have no drive. They don't have no self-respect. Because you should never say stupid stuff in a conversation to a complete stranger, a woman, and then the next minute you're saying, oh, can I have your phone number? For what? You ain't even got no damn conversation. And I don't even know why I gave him my phone number. Because the vibe was it just wasn't right. But I kind of felt like pressure at the moment when he was just like, oh, can I have your number? And da-da-da-da. And my spirit was saying, Angie, I don't think this is a good idea. I just don't think you should be giving this guy your number. And then after he got the number, he just kept with the touching my arm, and then trying to rub the side of my leg. And I was just like, what is going on? I was just like, okay, how far is this going to go right here? We're in public. Then when we got around to the area where you pick up the chicken, because they wouldn't serve it to me over the bar area, she told me to walk around the corner and pick it up. And then I talked to the little barmaid, whatever. He's all in my face, wanting to touch and hug. And I was just like, what is going on? And then he talking about give me a kiss and all this type of crazy stuff. And I was just like, this dude is acting too fucking desperate. So let me tell you, when I didn't hear from him Thursday, first thing I said to myself, whoo, he didn't want nothing. He ain't going to call. Thank you, Jesus. That's exactly what I said to myself. He don't call. That's great. And I left it at that. He ain't called. Good. He's moved on. Boom. Here comes Friday. He texts, and then he calls. And then she calls. And I'm like, oh my God. These two are two peas in a pod. They deserve each other. But the thing that's so crazy, Gold, what type of woman would tell another woman, hey, that's my husband. I don't want you calling him. He's homeless. I don't see how you can put that all in the same sentence. Hey, he's married. He's homeless. I don't want you calling my husband. I started laughing while she was sitting there talking. Because I thought maybe she was high on dope. I thought, is this like somebody punking me? Where's Ashton Kutcher? Because this is ridiculous. Why are you calling another woman telling her that the man is homeless and he's your husband? That don't even make no sense. How is he homeless, but you were able to repeat what was said to him in a private conversation? I'll let that sit right there. Anybody got any ideas? How is he homeless, but you're listening to his private conversations? You know of his private conversations with another woman. Next time I go to the street, I'm going to ask a homeless person. I was like, do you have a wife, sir? He say, yeah, I got a wife. She in California. And I'm going to say, well, when you talk on the phone now, does she know who the hell you talking to while you way over here in East Tennessee? Because I ain't never heard of such. Right. Married and homeless. Where they do that at? What you mean is you got a man that's going from pillar to post, and you letting him come and go out your house, and you just so happen to go on that man's phone, and possibly he gonna be homeless since you now know he done gave his number to Angela, or he took Angela's number. That's basically what she's saying. He about to be homeless. Either way, it don't got nothing to do with me, because I'm not about to get tangled up in this Netflix movie. I'm not about to be no damn Tubi movie. That's my journey, everybody. That's my fiasco this week. Golly. That's why I tell people, who needs cable? You don't even need cable and Wi-Fi when you put up with the bullshit I put up with on a daily damn basis. I told myself that today. I was like, how do you keep attracting these crazy ass black men? They always got fucking drama. I'm like, you don't even get out the gate getting to know them. Like Mr. Professional, who I haven't talked to since March. That's a whole nother story. He waits to the last minute to tell me after I tell him I've been feeling sick. After I told him about the nodule situation that they found in my thyroid, and all of a sudden it was, oh, you should be concerned about yourself. And well, I didn't want to say anything, but we don't need to talk anymore. I don't need to, don't call my phone, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was a joke. So I read that black motherfucker. I said, look at here. You have dicked me around for over 5 months, 7 months, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You just reached out to me in January 2 times. Oh, we got a connection. Call my phone, unblock me, all this. But then as soon as somebody tell you, ask you a question, do you see a future for us? Because of all this back and forth, these lies, me learning the truth about him and the baby and his real name, all that shit, where is this going? Yeah, I asked. And he was like, oh, but you're not feeling well and you should be more concerned about your health. Why are you worrying about us? I said, well, I think this is a perfect time for me to be concerned about us, considering you just reached out to me again, first of the year, 2 times. Where is this going? This back and forth, back and forth. I said, because I don't really know you, and what I do know of you, I don't care for. And I still don't believe you've been truthful with me about things. And how can I ever believe anything that you say? So I have a right to ask you, where is this going? Due to the fact that, yes, I'm having some health issues. And why should I be wasting my time with a person who has not been truthful with me? Which I probably already know the answer to my own stupid question. But where is this going? Where do you see it going, since you are the one that's been reaching out to me? I had every right to ask that question. And then next thing you know, he says, well, I don't see a future with us. I'm a workaholic, and I'm going to work until the day I die. Please don't call me. I won't bother you, blah, blah, blah. Have a good life. That shit was so funny. So I think I hung up, blocked him, and then he sent a text. And I texted back. I texted him and I told him, oh, I cussed his ass out. I said, you dicked me around for 7 months, on and off, on and off. You knew you never wanted anything. You knew you weren't telling me the truth about who you are, your name, your age, your profession. You had a baby on the way when I met you. You never mentioned that. And now all of a sudden you're going to give Queen the boot? When you're the one that's reaching out to me? That doesn't even make logical sense. You could go out here and pick any woman that you want, but yet you're dialing my number. You're texting me. You're reaching out to me on the date site. And then all of a sudden when I say, well, do you see a future? Then all of a sudden you switch and say, no, because I'm a workaholic. Okay, you know what, motherfucker? Go find somebody else to lie and manipulate. Because I'm tired of listening to you breathe. Yeah, that shit pissed me off because it was just like, I have wasted all these months, hoping this person would come around, act like they had some sense, when they had been lying to me for months about everything. And I had no idea exactly what he was lying about, but I knew he wasn't being truthful. I knew he wasn't being truthful about something. Oh, this is why, as my father said to me damn near 30 years ago, you need to know where a man lives. That's out the gate. If you start talking to a guy, you meet him wherever. I don't care where you meet him, church, date site, wherever. You start talking, get general interests. Those are the things you need to learn first. Smoker, non-smoker, drinker, kids, work. If he fits your criteria, you want to keep talking for a few days, cool. But before you do any meeting and greeting, you need to say one question. Do you live alone? Or do you live with someone? If he tells you he lives with others, another person, I don't want to tell you. You just need to hang up the fucking phone, block your number, delete, because there's nowhere it can go after that. Like I said in my short, ain't nobody about to be sitting up here entertaining no fucking man in their house no every damn day, because that entertaining leads to a shoe, a toothbrush, a shirt, a pair of pants. Next thing you know, all this stuff is at your house. He done moved in, or you foolishly ask him to move in with you. No, no, and no. There are too many jobs out here that men can do to secure a place to stay. Even though I know rent is high now in most jurisdictions, but the point is, if you had your shit together, you would already have a place to live, and you would need a fucking place to stay when you meet a woman in 2025. And that's how I look at life. The only way a man should be destitute is if he is just now coming out of a coma, or his house was in a flood or a fire. Other than that, you work every day, you got a job as a man, you should have your own apartment, your own condo, your own trailer, your own barn, your own tiny home, or you should be paying hotel fees. You should be somewhere, because there's just no excuse for a grown man not to have his own place. And when you start talking about 40 years old, 50, 55, 60, you still living with somebody else? Oh, hell no. I just made a vow to myself. I'm not talking to anybody that don't have their own place. As I said to that other guy a week ago that was here on business for 3 weeks, and he was wanting to meet and greet, and I was just like, just letting him talk. I really wasn't interested, because once I asked him that one question, who do you live with? And he said he lived with his mother, 41, and you live with your mother and you travel for work? Hell no. So that means if I wanted to go to North Carolina to visit him, then I got to go to his mama's house. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? How the fuck is that going to work? Oh, hey, can I come see you this weekend? Well, I got to check with my mom. Make sure everything is okay. And I'm not about to sleep in no woman's house with her son, even though her son is grown, but I wouldn't do that. I'm not going in no another woman's house to sleep with no man, visit no man. That's out. Now, I went to visit him at his own place in North Carolina or wherever, and then he says, hey, I'd like to take you by my mother's home for you to meet her. That would be different. But not to stay no night and sleep in there and walk around in my nightgown and hell no. 41 years old, travels for work. I can't even remember what he said he did, but he probably makes a decent living, especially if you're going to be on the road 3 weeks, so you know he's making good money. The fact that you don't even have your own apartment or house, and you're living with your mother, and then he had made a comment saying, well, I could always come visit you. I could always come visit you. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, that's what you're getting ready to do now, is visit me. You're probably staying in a hotel for 3 weeks. You think you're going to come over here and smooch and get you something for nothing. And then next thing you know, we look up, oh, it's been nice knowing you. I got to go home now. And then you go back to doing whatever you were doing in North Carolina. And then the person don't even hear or see from you again. I was about to set myself up for that at 54. I knew better. I told myself, don't even keep talking to this one. Because one, he doesn't live here. He lives out of town. He's only going to be here for 3 weeks. And I told him that. I said, well, I prefer to talk to somebody that lives, here in Knoxville or in the general area. And he was like, oh, I could come visit you. That's no problem. He said that in a text. And so I just said, well, oh, I don't even remember if I responded. I don't think I responded. And I haven't said anything else to him. And we haven't said anything because there was nothing else to say. Once he told me he lived with his mother, and then he responded, oh, I can come down and visit. What else is there to say after that? Oh, okay. I'm not getting ready to further the conversation because That's what he was trying to do was, oh, well, let's get together. That's what he said. Let's get together and meet and let's chill. Okay. So we going to go meet in public, allegedly, and then we going to go chill where? We going to go chill where? At the hotel? Or we just going to chill in public in a restaurant? And then when it's time to go, you're going to say, well, what are you about to do? And then I say, oh, well, I got to go home. I got to get up in the morning. And then you say, well, would you like a little company? And then I say, as I said, I got to get up in the morning. But thank you for the meal or lunch or coffee or whatever. I wasn't even about to set myself up for video chat. We texted them short few texts. Once he said he lived with his mother, there was no need in saying, hey, well, let's video chat, let's talk. For what? Now, some women might say, well, go ahead and meet with him just to get you a free dinner. I know where that's going to lead to. I wasn't even going to waste my breath sitting through a meal, and all he's doing is huffing and puffing, scuffing the food down because he's thinking he get ready to go back to my place. So to alleviate all that, I stopped replying. And then I think, let's see. I can't remember if he sent me another text, but I know another dude sent me a text. How you doing? And he really don't talk much either. He sporadically texts this other little dude on a date site. I just ain't been responding because I just don't see the point. If you don't never hear, hey, you want a video chat, so we can see what each other look like, why are we just texting back and forth? Like the one that just texted recently, a couple days ago. How you doing? I didn't respond. I just erased the whole damn message. Hell, he ain't yet got video chatted. Then he had the nerve to send a message the other day saying, well, I tried to video chat with you. I said, well, I didn't see it. So, sorry. You've been messaging me for almost 2 weeks or so. And it takes you damn near a week to two to decide you want a video chat. Because I think he sent me his phone number. No, he said, we can exchange numbers or something. Yeah, I think he did send his number. I think he said, here's my number, we can text. And I didn't reply because I felt like, well, we texting now. We're on a date site texting. Why do we need to give up telephone numbers to text? And then after this little incident with this bobblehead, the number I gave Wednesday night, this is the very reason why I don't want to give my phone number out. Hell no. Hell no. I'm going to give my damn number to nobody else. No. No. I just got this number. I've had this number only a few months. I do not want my number circulating out here. And all these damn Billy Bobs getting the number. And then now I got to wait to see a Susie Mae dig in the phone. And here she calling. Hi, is this Angela? And I got to say, how may I help you? Well, I'm Billy Bob's wife. And I'm Billy Bob's girlfriend, and then I could just go ahead and hang on up. Click and delete, block. Block, delete. Nobody got time for that. Because I feel like this. I foolishly go mess with a man, got a girlfriend or a wife. He gonna do me the same way he do her. Let's say he left her. And we set up shop together. I foolishly set up shop. He will do the same to me. What would be the difference? It won't be no difference. So I don't even go down that road. You got a girlfriend? Good. Love her. You got a wife? Good. Love her. Stay over there. That's all this crazy shit that's going on out here with these crazy stories of people getting shot, killed, stabbed. I don't need nobody trying to hunt me down and find me over no dusty ass penis. I'll pass. Lord have mercy. 29 viewing. Ain't nobody else talking but glitters and gold. Y'all just over here ear hustling. But that's the latest, everybody. Queen ain't had no luck. I'm just tired of the bullshit. Just like some woman commented on one of my shorts telling me to enjoy my freedom, being single and my freedom. What she don't know is I've been single and free for years. But there comes a point when a person desires to have a mate in life. God didn't put a woman and a man here to be separate. If you believe in the good book, he made a woman from Adam's rib. So he knew what he was doing. He wanted Adam to have a companion. So it's thousands of years later, this Eve here, she would like a companion. I've been by myself a long time. Why the hell do I want to continuously be by myself? I know about having freedom and being single. I came in the world free. I came out my mama's womb free. The point is, I'm an adult and I'm grown. And I'd like to be with somebody. But the point is, I'm not just going to keep, you know what I'm saying, getting in the mix with people who I see don't have their shit together and thinking something good is going to come from it when it's not. But I'm not going to just give up. There's days that I do want to give up because it's just like, it just seems so dire that these men, they just don't have their shit together. And then the more I sit up here and talk about true crime and different situations on this channel, I realize how scary it is trying to get to know a person because you don't know people. Like the story I just brought you with the man married to 3 women, 3 different counties. He's just going from county to county marrying women. Tired ass black Negro. And then got the nerve to sit up in court. The judge saying, you got a job? No. You got some money in the bank? No. Well, you're going to have to find some money to pay for that damn court costs. And they should make him pay for them divorces too. That should be mandated. If I was a judge, I would order him. Well, the women want to be divorced from you, the 2 women, I'm ordering you to pay the whole cost to divorce them. Since you have been lying and using them, you need to pay the cost of the divorce or attorney fees. Hell yeah, make his ass pay for something. Because there ain't no telling what he done got out of them 3 white women since he done married all 3 of them, old dirty dog. Just so dog. And see, that's another thing about a lot of black men. A lot of black men still have that mentality where they think white women make more money and have more than black women. And that's the only reason why they're hooking up with the white women is to get in their pocketbook. And see, a lot of white women don't know that. But that's how a lot of black men think of them. They don't want you because you're pretty and you are well suited. They think you are a walking checkbook. I've heard black men say it. I'll get me a white woman. She got some money. She got a car. Like this one little dude I had met, 2 years ago. I've talked about him briefly on network. He's another fucking bum. He got with this one white woman, and honey, she showed his ass what she was made of. And I told him when he came crying to me about her. Oh, she called the police on me. She put me out. I said, why are you telling me? I said, look how stupid you sound. You crying to me about a white woman that you went and deliberately used because you thought she was going to buy you a car. I said, what person is getting ready to go dig in their bank account and buy a fool a car? I said, but this is how stupid you are. I said, you're going to fuck around one day, you're going to end up dead. Sitting out here trying to use these white women. But let him tell her, I've always dated white women and, they usually put up more than what black women put up with. I said, yeah, but it's going to be a cost for that. There's going to be a price for that. You out here deliberately using white women. I said, I'm telling you, you're going to get yourself tangled up. They're going to find your ass dead somewhere. They're going to find your ass bits and pieces of you in a fucking wood chipper. Keep it up. Then you're going all down in the county somewhere where hardly no black people and you want to be down there using a white woman? That girl could pick up a bat, beat you to death, bury you in the backyard. Nobody would ever know that you was back there. I said, you a fucking fool. But see, there are people who are hard-headed. They like drama. And I told him that about himself. And I sent him a text months ago telling him, don't call me, don't message me. I don't want to be around your kind. Because you stay in stuff, you're always in stuff, and you're a user. I don't want to be part. Why would I want to hold a conversation with somebody that you constantly see that even though he wasn't with the white woman recently, to my knowledge, months ago, he's still just trying to find somebody to dupe. And I just was like, I don't need to be talking to this person because he's that type of person you can't help. You can't do nothing for him. He's only going to try to use you for something. And that's not somebody I need to be around. And I just finally told him, we don't need to be talking or conversating. Because, you're a street person. You have a street person's mentality. And I just don't want to have no parts of nobody that even navigates the way you navigate. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And right now, Queen is solo dolo. I ain't talking to nobody. Ain't nobody calling my phone. And I'm not calling nobody's phone. And just like I told The one dude that messaged the other day, I'm not a texter. I'm not into that texting. So he was like, oh, well, we could talk on the phone. I thought, you're not trying to talk on the phone. That's the whole reason why you sent the message. We can text. I'm not going to give you my phone number to text. We already on the site texting. And we have the option to video chat. So why do I need to give you my telephone number? And see, that's another thing I hate about these old dusty ass Negroes. They always want you to give their number. Can I have your number? Can I have your number? For what? We got the video chat option. Don't you want to see what I look like first before I give you the telephone number? That's how stupid they are. How do you know I'm who I say I am? You just looking at my pictures and you believe that's me? I could be a man. How do you know? Could be a child, anything. This is just how stupid these men are. They're just so pussy whipped. And they ain't even got it yet. But that's how they navigate. Because that's all they're thinking about is sex. Child, I'm done. The shit just gets so old. That's why today I said, I'm going to enjoy myself. I went out tonight, got me a nice little bottle. And I said, I'm going to chill in this apartment. I'm going to listen to me some music. I had the YouTube playing on the TV on quiet. I had my little Bluetooth. She was giving us the business up here, baby. And I was enjoying Queen. And I said, this is the Queen I like. She mellow. She ain't stressed about nothing. She ain't upset about nothing. She enjoying her own company. And that's what a lot of people need to understand about me. Because there are a lot of people who must really think I'm sitting up here trying to pull my fucking hair strands out over another human being. No, I'm not. I have good days. I have bad days, just like any other human. But the one thing I'm not about to do is let the devil have control over me and have him use people, you know what I'm saying, to get to me, get under my skin. And I gave the devil the business tonight, baby. I sat up in here and I enjoyed my own company. Me, myself, and I. And that's how it's going to be. Like I said, I don't care if I feel good, feel bad. It don't matter. I'm not letting the devil have everything. Because he sure been working me, honey. But yes, next week, I am scheduled to get the biopsy next Friday for my thyroid. So finally, the day it's supposed to be next week. I thought I was having it last week. But then when I get there, that was just a consultation. And then they sent me for labs. Still don't have the result from the labs. Because my stupid doctor, she act like she'll not pick up the phone and call. That's a whole nother subject with that crazy witch and her nurses. But I told myself, I'm not going to worry about them. Because, see, they don't know I can act like a plumb fool and let them call. And I can sit there and look at the number roll and let them leave a damn message. And I answer when I want to answer. Since they want to call when they want to call, hell, I'll respond when I want to respond. I'm not even going to worry about it. I said, I let God take control of this shit. But I thank you all for being concerned and, asking how I've been. And so far, I've had my ups and downs. I've been a lot real achy lately and tired and sluggish. But, I'm just holding on. But right now, I'm doing pretty good. Today, I've had a pretty good bit of energy. So I'm feeling, upbeat. Although it's almost, midnight here in East Tennessee. But I'm feeling good. Y'all kept me company tonight. The few people who commented in the chat. Ooh, I'm almost 2 hours in. I ain't going to hold y'all. But I'm going to go back and check my poll pertaining to Sean Puffy Combs. Hold on 1 second. And see what you all, what the stats say now. Pertaining to a guilty or innocent verdict. Hold on, everybody. Glitters and Gold had me laughing earlier. She said, talking about him being possessed. 12 people voted, girl. A fan said in my chat line that Puffy is possessed. Do you agree? 42% said yes. 50% no. Not sure. 8% out of 12 votes. One person commented. Laura says he's just a creep. Plain and simple. Oh, God. That's so funny. Okay. 35 votes so far. Puffy's trial starts Monday. What will the verdict be? Guilty, 91%. Unsure, 9%. So out of 35 votes, 91% of you believe that 12 members of a jury will find him guilty. Godric, where the hell you been? You just not coming in. I'm about to get off of here. I'm 2 hours into this live stream. I done talked enough junk on here for 2 hours. Honey, I'm going to take me a shower and pour me a toddy. Oh, I'm getting ready to have me a good drink tonight, baby. All by myself. All by myself. Yeah, it's a pretty good post. Godric coming here all late. Look, coming here stammering like a drunk. You late, you drunk? Damn. Where the hell you been? Hop on. You say this out juke joint. Y'all know Queen ain't got no sense. I'm in good spirits tonight. I don't know what happened. I feel really good. Okay. Somebody replied, yep. Let's see what this is about. Oh, this to the twins found in Georgia. Somebody believes that the boys were placed there and the crime happened somewhere else. Oh, you all have got to listen to my shorts. Let's play some of those shorts before I leave, since Godric going to come in here all damn late. I wish I was drunk. I need a drink or 3. Well, honey, pour you something. I don't know where you at. Liquor store might be closed where you are now. All right, everybody, we get ready to go into my shorts, and I'm going to play some of my dating shorts I made the other night, poking fun at myself. If you take them serious, that's on you, because it ain't that serious to me. So far, I've been getting some really good feedbacks from my shorts. Getting more views on my shorts than I'm getting on my damn live streams. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Now, Gypsy Rose is back in the news talking about she feels unsafe after a bookshop was threatened because she's supposed to be signing books at a bookshop. What that means for her to sit on down and stop talking. Go mind your business, raise your child, stay out the way. You ain't got to be seen. Shit. Give it a rest. All right, here we go, everybody. Welcome to the Vault Excel.
Well, these black men around these parts don't want to act right, do right. So I guess I have to date outside my race. So what are my options? A white man or a Hispanic man? Well, at least with the Hispanic man, I know he gonna get up and go to work.
All right, I got.
Well, these black men around.
I got 11 replies. 9 replies. Some of them got mad. Sunshine said, "Don't do it, girl." Then I replied, "Life is short, dear." Then she said, "Settling for less is even shorter. KMSL. And then somebody says, "Maybe a nice Asian male or Native American. It could be interesting for both of you to learn about each other's cultural backgrounds and heritage." Then Joseph says, "Damn, y'all acting like us Hispanic is no good and a downgrade. What the fuck y'all talking about? That's crazy." So then I replied, "If the man is decent," I said this is Sunshine, "if the man is decent, treats me the same, I'm not settling." So then I said to Joseph about the Hispanic comment, I said, "Your perception, not mine." So then Sunshine replied back to Queen, "I believe, please do what you believe. Black men are the best. I will not settle for less. Be your happy." So then somebody else said, good God, Queen, get a dog or cat. They will never F you around. Your thyroid biopsy's okay? Then I replied to her about the biopsy. It's on the 9th. Thanks for asking. Ooh, Lord. Damn. All that from one short. Y'all know y'all be getting all tangled up, upset. It wasn't to make fun of Mexicans or anybody else, just entertainment. Damn, calm down. Woo, everybody's so serious.
Since these black men don't want to act right here in Knoxville, Tennessee, I guess I need a donation to go to the pet store and buy me a damn goldfish. Damn, this is ridiculous.
Queen, you gotta go get a goldfish. Well, I've been down. That damn Queen gotta get a goldfish. You're shut up, my bitch. Well, I'm declare. So she got to get her a Mexican, a Native American, a goldfish, because she don't want no cat. Her don't want no kitty cat.
Yes, the queen attracts a lot of younger men, but I can tell you, I don't think it's gonna matter if I date them old or younger, because the old ones moaning, groaning, and the young ones ain't doing nothing but crying. And I ain't about to be buying no pacifiers and no files. I said that.
I like that lady. Ooh, I like her. Oh, I like her. She's funny. Okay, just showing you all some of my shorts. Listen.
Where is the single black man that has his SHIT together, got his own, and baby, he wears dress clothes, not t-shirts and tennis shoes. I don't give a damn about you giving no damn money to Michael Jordan. I said that.
She want a well-dressed man. She don't want nobody wearing t-shirts and tennis shoes. Michael Jordan made enough money off you damn black men wanting to wear $300 tennis shoes. Go get you some Stacey Adams, like they used to wear back in the 80s. Shut your mouth.
When I say being a black woman at 54, the pickings are slim. It is dire out here. I'm either going to be a hoarder or a cat lady. Not hell no.
She said she ain't about to be no cat lady. Woo.
I went out tonight and I realized these men just ain't gonna change. This black man was just touching and rubbing and think he was complimenting me. But the clincher was when he said he had never been with a plus size woman before. So he thought they was gonna make me take you home. I went out tonight and I realized these men just ain't gonna change. This black man was just touching and rubbing and think he was complimenting me. But the clincher was when he said he had never been with a plus size woman before. So he thought they was gonna make me take you home.
That's the guy I was talking about in this live stream. Feel free to go back to the replay to get the 411 on that bullshit that happened earlier today with him and his wife calling my phone today. Ooh, Lord help me, Jesus.
Date Site 101. Baby, you ain't gotta lie about your name, your profession, your age. Ooh, and that you had a baby mama. Shut your mouth. But it's really nothing going on. Yeah,
alright. Mr. Professional. Just a lying old black man. That's all right. You reap what you sow in life. You reap what you sow. Feel sorry for anybody that meets him. She's going to be sorely disappointed. Disappointed, baby.
Date Site 101. Make sure that the person that you're talking to, entertaining, he shows you his damn ID so you can make sure that the name that he gave you on the date site is his real government name. Don't make me testify.
Well, I testified. I already told everybody. He lied about everything. Name, age, profession, and had a baby on the way. Whew, Lord have mercy. God help me.
Date Site 101. Make sure that the person that you're talking to, entertaining, he shows you his damn ID so you can make sure that the name that he gave you on the date site is his real government name. Don't make me testify.
I played that one already. Sorry about that. I got so many of them. Just playing these for those who have not seen the shorts made this week.
Date Site Situation 101 and just in general. Ladies, always have a man take you to his home where he lives. He can't show you where he lives. Ain't no need to entertaining him because ain't nobody gonna be up in our house all the damn time. Hell no.
That's right, ladies. Always get an address and go where he lives. Don't just take for granted that's where he stays. Let him take you inside. That way you know he lives there alone and not with a woman, a wife, a girlfriend, fiance.
Date site situation 101. 41-year-old man still living at home with his mother and just wants to visit and come see the queen. I don't think so, because I can't come see you at your mama's house. Shut your mouth.
True story. True story. Date site drama. 41-year-old trying to meet and greet with the queen. I bypassed that. No, thank you. Once I found out he lived in North Carolina with his mother, there was no point in trying to talk to him. He was only visiting here for work. 3 weeks. Didn't waste my time.
Just a little advice for the ladies, all ages, especially 50 plus. He don't have his own place. He don't have his own car. It's probably not going to work out. I'm just saying.
And for the stupid man that asked me, do I have both of them? Well, you saw the background. Where do you think I was filming this video from? A motel? I was in my kitchen when I made that short. To answer your damn question. Stay out my business. As this one guy says, Steve from the Dynamic Reason Channel says, a lot of people love to judge women, calling them gold diggers. But like you said, what woman wants a man that's broke? Exactly. No woman should want a man that ain't got no damn money. I don't care what he does for a living. If he's an NBA player or he's a garbage man. What are you going to do with a man with no money? A man that's homeless. Let's keep it real. Okay? Common sense. How'd she get the number? Well, Godric, that's a very good question. You said I haven't lived with my parents since I was 17. Well, she got my number. He either gave it to her or she went through his phone. As I said, you have to go back and listen to the replay because I hate to go through, that whole scenario, what happened. But the point, long story short, the wife ended up calling me after I talked to him today. So I find it interesting. She called shortly after we talked. So I don't know what's going on between him and this woman. I don't know him. I just met him briefly Wednesday. I've seen him around in the community like years ago, but I don't know him. But like I said, in the short I made, I got a bad vibe about him just because he was too touchy, and just comments he made in the conversation. It just was a bad vibe. Now, he had got the number. I'd never heard from him until today. I didn't think he was going to call. It didn't matter if he called or not because I don't even think I had his number. If I had it, I erased it. I didn't care. Long story short, he texted, he called. He was basically trying to tell me somebody would probably call my phone. This lets you know he's a dog. He don't give a fuck about nobody. Why would you take my number when you know you have somebody else? That's principle number one. And then the fact you're going to get on my phone and then tell me, oh, by the way, somebody probably is going to call you. Well, why would you leave your phone out where she could call me? Why are you putting my name in your phone with a female name? So this just shows me he likes drama. He's like the typical male. He's just out here doing whatever to survive. And he don't care who he hurts, who he uses. And I wasn't going to play the game. And I let his ass know that today. I don't know what you got up your sleeve. I don't know what's going on with you. Her, don't know her. I said, but nobody should be calling my phone because I don't even know you. And you have no right to be texting me and now calling me, telling me, act professional when this person calls. Don't believe anything that they say about me. So that was strange. Like, okay, so what is it that she's getting ready to tell me about you that's negative? I thought maybe he was at a halfway house or something and that was going to be a parole officer or somebody calling me. That's what I first thought. Like, who's this female that's supposed to be calling me? Is it a job? Then I thought a job wouldn't care if somebody used the work phone. I had all these different ideas in my head earlier. And I said, Queen, don't be thinking about none of that bullshit. You already know who the person's going to be that's going to probably call your phone. She call your phone, you tell her what you need to tell her, you hang up, you keep it moving, and I let her know. I am not about to sit here and have no winded conversation with you. You're not getting ready to scold me about nothing because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I told her the truth. I don't know him. I don't know him. I didn't tell her where I met him. I didn't give her all the specifics because it was none of her business. That's for him to tell her, not me. Because I didn't even know she existed until today. I haven't even talked to this man, you understand, in almost 2 days. So when he finally called, I was like, oh, okay, he's calling. And he was trying to run me and tell me how I should react when somebody calls my phone. And I told him, you don't have a right to tell me how to behave on my own phone because nobody should be calling my phone. I didn't give my number to this person. So why would she be calling me? And I had every right to say that because when he met me, he never said he had a girlfriend or he had a wife. So that's on him. It's not on Angela. And I let her know that. I don't know him. I'm not talking to him. I don't date him. I said, yes, I responded to his text, but he and I have not been winded. You know, I was trying to tell her we ain't been talking or calling, but she kept over talking me. So I just cut her ass off and I said, well, I tell you what, ain't nothing going on. And I'm not about to keep talking to you on no fucking phone. And I hung up on her ass. I'm going to sit here and be arguing about no motherfucking food. Yeah, this is my phone. This is a private number. I just got this number. And it just shows you how callous he is that he has the nerve to send a text. This is what I tell you about people who love to text. They can't hold adult conversations. That's pet peeve number one. You want to text. But I tell women that all the time. Because even some of you women, you all like to text. Stop that. The world wasn't built on text. If you can't hold an adult conversation, you don't even need to be dealing with grown people, period. You don't text somebody to say, hey, if somebody calls your phone, just ignore them. Act professional. Yeah, it's like it's a job interview. Like I'm giving somebody a reference for him. Oh, hey, make sure Matilda's gonna call you. Be professional. And you're talking and you're sending messages to the person through the voice clip, like, what the hell are you talking about? And I texted him back. I said, what are you talking about? Who's getting ready to be calling me? I left the voice clip because I told you I don't do that texting shit. I said, who are you talking about? Who's going to be calling me? I says, nobody has any business calling me because I didn't give my number to no any ass body. I gave my number to you. So who then been in your phone? That's exactly what I said. Who's been in your phone that's going to be calling me? I said, you out of line, bruh. You are out of line. I said, and then the nerve of you to text this to me, that's some cold shit. So then he realized I was pissed in the voice clip. That's when he called me. Well, I'm at work. I really can't talk, but it don't matter who's calling. Excuse me? Oh, yeah, Queen was about to bust her lid open. I said, oh, it do matter. This is my shit. This is my damn cell phone. What the hell you talking about? So that let me know right there. The vibe I got about him Wednesday night, I was spot on. My spirit told me, don't call, don't text. You don't even need to reciprocate if he decides to call you because there's something about him that's not right. He proved all of that Wednesday with his behavior. And then today, texting me that bullshit, calling me on the phone, trying to tell me how to talk and act if the woman calls, didn't want to tell me who she was, hung up and said, I'll call you back and tell you later. Then she finally calls me after I just hung up with him, which I thought was strange. As if she was sitting there listening to our conversation. It was weird. However it went, however she got my number, however she heard about the chicken, which is so funny to me. We're sitting here talking about chicken wings. Oh, the shit would have me dying laughing. When she said, he bought you some chicken from Bojangles? I said, no, he didn't. And I was laughing when I said it. I thought, you're just as a psychopath as he is. You're sitting here repeating shit and you don't even know what you're talking about. Ain't nobody told you that man bought me no chicken from no Bojangles. You sitting there eavesdropping on a fucking voice clip and ain't wasn't nothing in that voice clip about no damn Bojangles. Just a damn crazy person. That's when I said, oh, honey, lose both of these people's numbers because they're both psychopaths. Because I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. To me, he is a typical weak-minded man. He would be the type that he would go back and tell her stuff deliberately, tell her stuff to make her jealous. And next thing you know, that bitch will be sitting up here hunting me down, trying to find me. I don't trust men. And I've seen men do dirty, low-down shit. When they're caught with their foot in the trap, they'll go back and tell the wife, girlfriend, everything. The name, what the woman looked like, where she worked, car she drive, all of that. So I'm glad he don't know where I live. I'm glad he don't know where I live. I didn't tell him where I live. Because I told him that Wednesday night. Why do you need to know? What difference does it make? And then when I asked him, well, where do you live with somebody? First thing he says is, that's not important. And I was like, oh, yeah, it is important. You in my face talking SHIT, acting like you somebody relevant when you're not. I mean, he was flirting tough, but I knew he wasn't hitting on nothing. But nothing broke the cake. When she said he was homeless, that did it for me. I was like, what? You're calling my phone talking about a homeless man? What the fuck are you talking about, lady? You're stupid enough to even put that on the phone earpiece. You must be smoking meth. Because I would have never told another woman that. I would have never, ever, ever, ever called a woman on her phone to talk about why her number is in my husband's phone, why are they talking, and oh yeah, by the way, he's homeless. How does that make any sense? Well, if he's homeless, why are you calling me? The conversation didn't make no sense. Well, he's homeless. That's why he wanted to know where you live so he could stay with you. Well, maybe so, Godfrey. But think about what you're saying. Why would he want to be staying with me when, one, he doesn't know me? We don't know each other. And she's in his phone. Where do you think she got the phone from to get the information? Obviously from her house. So that means he stays with her. So he's got somewhere to stay. He's not homeless. That's why I said, I don't know what kind of game they were playing. I wasn't interested in finding out. I blocked and deleted both of their numbers. Because this woman is in my phone like me and this man been talking every day. He's only texted me today, or it would have been yesterday, Friday. I met him Wednesday night. He got the number. We didn't talk Thursday. He texted Friday. I responded. I sent the voice clip to respond to him talking about somebody supposed to be calling me, or Will might call. And then that's when he responded back, probably scared because he could tell I was upset in the voice clip. And then he was going on and on and on, trying to explain himself in a slick ass way. And I let him know, you're not running anything. Because one, I don't know you. And I'm not going to sit here and have this conversation with a complete stranger about another stranger calling my phone. This is bullshit. And I let his ass know. You're not going to talk to me no any kind of way. And you're not going to sell me no motherfucking wet rag and think I'm going to be like, oh, okay, fine. I'll pretend I don't know you. No. Hell no. I gave her just what she needed to hear. I told her the truth. I could have made up some shit. Oh, yeah, we've been talking for 5 months. Woo, woo, hell no. I just told her the truth. Ma'am, I don't know him. And you're not going to sit here and talk my ear off about an imaginary love affair that never happened. So, get off my phone. Hell yeah. I cut her ass off and I hung up. I'm not sitting there listening to that damn bullshit. What you say, True? You're smarter than me. Girl, you're so funny. But you understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and hold no winded conversation with somebody when I know there's nothing going on. It's not like I was dating this guy and I'm in love with him and she calls. Then I want to sit here and have a conversation with her like a Lifetime movie. Oh, yes, I'm in love with him. He says he doesn't care for you and blah, 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 blah. You know, that little stupid ass Young and the Restless bullshit. It's nothing. We haven't even talked. We had one brief conversation today. And she's gotten herself all worked up. Which, I'm not trying to, blame her. But the point is, you're calling somebody's phone saying, don't call my husband. If you were looking at the text messages and his phone, you could see I never called him. Because I had to catch myself when I said I haven't texted him. I said, I responded to him when he texted. I said, but we have not been talking and texting and calling each other. I don't know him. I said, so before you go on and on and on, there's nothing going on. That's what I said to her. I said, there's nothing going on. I don't even know him. And then I hung up. I'm going to keep talking to her. She's trying to get all loud. Don't be calling my husband anymore. Well, go find your husband somewhere to stay then. The hell you two got going on? Crazy bat. I'm just saying, even if I know I got a man living with me, right? We not getting along. We got problems. Whatever. I am not about to give leverage to another woman. That's something you do not do. You don't tell everything. So where she fucked up is by calling me and then telling me, oh, hey, Angela, you've been talking to my husband and he's homeless. That don't even make no sense. The conversation don't even make no sense. I just would never tell another woman that. Hi, how are you? Oh, is this Angela? Uh-huh. Well, Angela, you're talking to my husband and he's homeless. How does that make any sense, that statement? Hi, I'm his wife and he's homeless. Then how would you have gotten my number, ma'am, if he's homeless? You two are sleeping in a tent and he rolled over and you looked at his phone? Help me understand. That's what I should have said to her. So that means you're homeless too then. Because how would you have heard the voice clip that I left where I thanked them for the food? You two are sleeping in a tent outside of Walmart? Help me understand. I'm confused. Sounds ridiculous. Okay, have a good night, Glitters. Why would she think somebody wants her homeless man? Well, Gottfried, the point is she's a woman. And that's that. She went through the phone, obviously. Or he told her that we met. See, I don't really know how it went. It don't really matter because I'm not going to rack my brain on how it went down. The point is, 9 times out of 10, she went through his phone, saw that he had been trying to call me. He didn't get a response. So then he sent the text. And then I left the voice clip earlier Friday. That's what's so strange about the conversation. It's just as quick as I left the voice clip and the text to him saying, hello, good afternoon, responding to him. He calls me from work allegedly. He's trying to slick talk me and not tell me who she is. Then he hangs up saying, oh, I'll call you later. And I said, no, you ain't going to hang up. I said, you're not going to call me later because I smell bullshit and I don't got time for this. So I said, well, thank you for the chicken. And then I hung up. So just as quick as I hung up with him, it was maybe an hour or two later, she calls, which was strange because you're sitting here telling me this man is homeless. Stop calling him when I know I haven't called him. Yesterday was my first time even talking to him. Like I said, I don't know what they got going on. I don't care. I just let her know, you ain't getting ready to be calling my phone. That's what I told her. I said, honey, you ain't getting ready to be calling me with this bullshit because I don't know him. And my first time talking to him was today. So if my thing is, if you read the text, you will see I hadn't never called his phone. It's a fucking crackpot. And he can't be homeless because how did she go through the phone? So more than likely he lied to me and said he was at work. I don't know. I don't know what's the truth. I just know shortly after she called. So maybe he left work, went home, set the phone down. She went through it, listened to the voice clip, or he told her the truth. But then that don't make no sense because why tell her the truth if you telling me to talk professional to her? And I guess not wig out. But hell, I didn't even know who her was because he never said it on the phone. He would never say, look, Angela, I lied. I got a girlfriend. I got a wife. She went through the phone. She saw where you left where you spoke, texted, responded. See, don't none of it make no sense because I know I hadn't talked to him. So when she kept saying, don't call him, I say, well, bitch, I ain't been calling him. What are you talking about? He was calling my phone. He didn't get no reply. Because he said, oh, I called you. That's what he texted. Hey, I called you. I was going to give up on you. You didn't respond, blah, blah, blah. And like I told him when I finally talked to him, I said, I didn't see where you called. So she went in there obviously and seen that maybe he tried to call me Thursday. And I never responded. And if she can read and write, she could see there was no response. There was no reply or text or nothing. So I don't really care, I don't have time for this type of stupid ass nonsense. It's just bullshit. He got caught for sure. Well, Godric, my thing is this. He knew his situation when he stepped outside his door Wednesday. That's how I look at life. I don't know him. I don't know nothing about him. I don't know where he lived. I don't know nothing about that man. He knew what he had going on when he stepped outside. You sitting here flirting heavy with a complete stranger in a restaurant. You knew your situation. You knew you had a woman. You should have said all that when you were sitting there beside me and wanted the phone number. That's what you should have said. Hey, I'd like to have your number, but I have a lady friend. I'm married, whatever. And then let me respond. If he had told me, oh, I got a wife, I got a girlfriend, I wouldn't have given my number. What's the point? I'm not getting ready to, be doing all that ducking and dodging and sneaking around and all of those type of nonsense you got to worry about. Them getting your address, because naturally the person gonna want your address. She would get it if you text it to the person. Because if you in there looking at a voice clip and a text or whatever she thinks she saw, well, when you text your address, then she now knows where you stay. Because think about it, when you meet people, what's the first thing they say? Text me the address. So if you got somebody sneaking in your phone, she would get the address. She'd know exactly where I live. Oh, we can't have that, honey. But see, this is what happens when you don't know people and you sending people information about yourself, your address, things like that. This is why I said you really need to get to know people, spend time with them, talking on the phone, video chatting, meeting in public, and then somewhere in the gist of all that conversation, really in the beginning, even before you meet them in public, there needs to be an understanding of where do you live. That's first and foremost. I get it. Some people don't want to tell all their personal business to strangers because we do have a lot of crazy people out here. But that's the point. At some point, you got to trust a person to tell them the truth about where you live and where you work. Because there's no need in people meeting and greeting and they don't even know where a person stays. They don't know where a person works. How long are we going to keep doing that? We just meeting and greeting. Okay, you don't trust me to know where you live. You don't trust me to tell me where you stay. It's got to be some trust at some point. Let's just say that. But in the beginning, when you meet people, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do? This is just phone conversation. What are your hobbies? You have children. Where do you stay? Where are you from? If the person cannot tell you that they live in town or the next town over, they can't tell you they live alone with a cat, dog, monkey, brother, sister, ain't nothing to talk about. If you ask a person, hey, do you live alone? If he or she says, I can't tell you, then you need to hang up and quit talking. If they're sitting beside you in a public place, quit talking. Because there's nowhere to take it. Because now they're being deceitful and they're not trying to tell you their living arrangements. And when you get to a certain age, such as where I am, there's just no logical reason for me to be talking to somebody who don't have a place to stay. They don't have their own. I mean, I've already lived this life of talking to somebody. They didn't have their own place. They were pillar to post over here. What am I gaining from that? Nothing. Then God forbid, they don't have a car or they can't drive, or then now all their responsibilities on me. I got to meet you, pick you up, all that. That's like dating a kid, being a teenager. I'm not a teenager. I'm an adult. A man has to be able to carry his weight at some point. And I'm 54. So I don't have any need to talk to any grown man who cannot carry his own. That's in a conversation, have his own job, money, car. Common sense. And I'm just tripping off this lady even saying this man is homeless. I thought this woman is crazy. Why would you tell another woman that? You must be on dope. I would have never told another woman that. Well, you know, I'm 54. You said you're 47. But you understand what I'm saying? I would have never gave another woman that much leverage. Oh, he's homeless. So that's why it struck me. I was almost laughing. Like, this lady is wacko. You're calling me sadly thinking there's something going on when it's not. You know, because I always tell myself you have to do, you know, sometimes put yourself in that person's shoes. She probably has feelings for him, whatever. That's all their business. It don't concern me. It's like I said, he had already lied and never told the truth anyway. But I would have never told another woman he's homeless because that just don't make no sense. You're going through his phone, listening to his conversations. So that means you two have to have somewhere to stay, I'm assuming. Unless, as I just said, both of you are homeless together. Because how is it he's homeless and you're not? That don't make no sense. This is the craziest conversation I've ever heard in my life. And listen, I feel sorry for any woman that meets him. I'm sure there's probably women in town that know about him. I didn't know, nothing about him. I just knew his face from, 20-something years ago, seeing him out and about. I told him, I said, yeah, I used to see you out and about different places, but I don't know him. And I didn't know he had a girlfriend. I didn't know he was married because he never mentioned that. But I put two and two together when I asked him, do you live alone or where do you live? And he wouldn't tell me. And I said, well, how's it important? How's it not important? I said, but you expect me to tell you where I stay. And he asked me over and over again, where do you live? Where you live? Where you live? Where you live? So once he heard what side of town I lived on, he probably thought, oh, she's got some money. She got some big money. No, Queen don't. Queen barely living. So that's why he was probably, trying to get a hold of me today when he left that message earlier saying, answer the phone, girl. Pick up. I'm trying to call you. Answer the phone. I thought, you must think you get ready to hit a gold mine with me. Ain't no gold mine with me. Shit, I'm feeling like the Chinese in the tariffs right now with Donald Trump. What the hell are you talking about? We ain't about to hit no gold mine with me. Said, well, wonder if he does that a lot of women like he did you. Well, he might. But the thing about it is, he's going to end up getting somebody hurt. That's what's going to happen. Because imagine if I was a stupid person and went ahead and maybe gave him my address. Let's just say I texted the number, right? Just imagine I texted my number. Well, he typed it in naturally because we were sitting beside each other when we met. But just imagine if he called the phone. I can't remember if he called my phone or not when he was sitting right there. Just imagine if he called and then he said, oh, give me your address. And I stupidly went on and gave him the address, even with the apartment number. This woman would have went in there and she would have had all my information, except for my whole name. That's some heavy shit. This is why you have to be careful, as I keep saying and preaching on this channel. You don't know people. Okay? People keep judging date sites. People keep judging apps, Facebook, all that. The point is, everybody has a story. Everybody has a journey. And most of the stories you hear out here in the street, yeah, it's pertaining to easy dating apps, date sites. But there are other people who have met people at the gym, a funeral, through a friend, a party, a function. They dated them for a while, got to know them, married them, and they didn't know them either. So it's a flip of the switch. It can go both ways. You can date for 6 months, 7 months. Don't have sex with them for 6 months, 3 months. Marry 4 or 5 years later. And one day wake up, you're sitting here sleeping with a sociopath, psychopath. They're plotting to kill you. Hire a hitman. They got babies all over the United States. They're bisexual, homosexual. The point is, you don't know people. So I get tired when people keep going on and on about the date sites and, oh, you didn't know him long and she didn't know him long. The point is, you can be fooled by the best of man or woman, because man or woman has fooled people since the beginning of time. I can speak from personal experiences with my own family members. They were good liars and cheaters, the men in my family, and they met the old-fashioned way when there was no apps, no date sites. They met in the community. A liar is a liar. A cheat is a cheat. A scammer is a scammer, no matter how he or she meets you. You can be a scammer and scam somebody and meet them at the gym, at the hospital, at a funeral. Doesn't matter. If your spirit ain't right, your spirit ain't right. And I keep trying to tell people that. Stop focusing on how somebody met on a date site. Oh, that's why it didn't work out. And it has nothing to do with a date site. That's why I keep trying to tell people, don't you think those other people, all those people that's on the date site that are people that are out here scheming and scamming and lying to people, you think they ain't lying about other stuff in their life to other people? Of course. That's just like Mr. Professional. When you go to his Facebook page and you look at the stuff he talks about on his page with his job and that new baby and his father, it's like you're looking at two different people. Those people that's on his Facebook page, they don't know he's a liar. They don't know he's on a date site using an alias. Hell, some of them didn't even know about that girl he was dating and got her pregnant. Because there was some guy who had commented over a year or two ago saying, who's this? Blah, blah, blah. Because that's the point. You don't know what people are doing. The people at his job, don't you think they would be shocked that they knew he was on a date site pretending to be somebody else and lying about who he is and what he does for a living? Why are you doing that, man? Don't you think you can be found out? You live in a small town. You get to bump into that lady anywhere. This is how stupid he is. He's dining at a restaurant just a few miles down the road from my apartment. Who's to say I didn't walk in that restaurant one day with somebody and saw him sitting over there? And then I decided to go over there and say hello and then called him by a different name. And everybody would have been sitting there looking like, who's she talking to? You see where I'm going? This is how ignorant people are and thinking they won't be caught in their lies. And Mr. Professional is a prime example. If he is lying to women on a date site, he's lying in his other life. This fake life he has with his business, with his friends, with his family. Because once you start lying, how do you turn it off? You want me to believe, oh, when he's around mom and dad and his sister, oh, he's now telling the truth about who he is? A liar is a liar. And that's why I asked those questions I asked on my community page about, can a liar change? Can a liar genuinely love a person? Because this man now has a newborn kid. So imagine this person who sits out here and put these lies out into the universe. How can he be a good father to a child when he can't even tell a person their real name and occupation and age? But yet now you have a child to rear. Come on now. Come on now. You dicking a person around, playing mind games and phone games and texting, making up stuff. But you're now somebody's father? So you can't rear her, and you can't love anyone, and you can't genuinely care for somebody. And then he's sitting up here on Facebook talking about his dad, and, oh yeah, I went to see my dad, and you need to see your parents and be around your family because you never know when it'll be the last time. I was just sitting here looking at him like, who are you? You like a fucking fool sitting up here next to this old man. You like a fucking fool. And then you know what's crazy? In the picture, he's not even smiling with his dad. He hardly smiles in any of his pictures. You know when the only time this motherfucker is smiling? When he's at the lunch table with his coworkers when they're out to dinner, when they're having their business meetings. He's sitting there smiling like a bald-headed chess cat. And I told myself, oh my God, Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's why your ass ain't married now. Because it ain't no telling what type of stunts he pulled with that wife down there in Atlanta. Because he was married to a woman down there in Atlanta. I do know that. There's no telling what's the truth. Remember the lie he told me months back last year? Oh, they got divorced because she had fibroids and she knew he wanted kids and he couldn't give her any kids. Oh, so you go knock up a 25-year-old woman and get her pregnant? Because you want a baby? Who the fuck wants a kid at 54? Mr. I love to play golf, wanna be Tiger Woods, replica. You don't even have time to change a diaper. But you gonna make a baby at 53? And all this time I've been sitting here thinking this motherfucker was 47. He's the same age as Queen, 54. I guess we have so much in common because our birthdays are a week apart from each other. Put that on paper. You know I was floored when I found all this out. I said I've been thinking this man was 47. He's fucking 54, the same age as Queen. Birthday what? February 2nd. I'm the 29th of January. Put it on paper. I ain't making none of this up. True story. That's why I tell people, I don't ever have to talk about true crime. I don't ever have to talk about breaking news. I could just go in the book of Angela and pull out a story, and I could make a live stream and a short about all the people I've dealt with in life, all the adventures I've had in life, downfalls, uphills, and never once talk about breaking news. I could fill up the YouTube queue 365 days on a true damn story by right hand of God. And naturally, what I'm telling you, people say, well, that's just your perception. We don't know his side or her side. Hey, you take it as you will, as you see fit. I can admit my flaws. I can admit my mistakes. And I own every part of dealing with Mr. Professional, that I knew something wasn't right when I first met him because he never wanted to go out. So I own that part I played. But he kept, oh, no, I like you. I like you. No, don't stop talking to me. So I held on. Held on to the tightrope like a fool. So I own that. So, you know, like I said, every few years I get tangled up with that one that, you know, I really, really like. It doesn't happen often, but he's that one. And it is what it is. But just like the situation with this fool from this week, you know I knew better because I always flash back to the Mr. Professional and the one before him. You know what to look for. You know the signs. When they start over-talking you, they don't want to answer questions, you know to walk away because there's deception. There's no need of taking it anywhere. You know, even though foolishly I had given him the number, but his behavior had progressed. You know, it just got worse and worse Wednesday night after I gave him the number. And I just kept telling myself, oh, nah, man, I gave him my fucking number. He's just acting like it's like he was so clingy. And I knew then that something wasn't right. And I told myself when I woke up Thursday, I said, you know what? Pray he don't call your phone. Pray you all don't talk. Hopefully he forgot about you and moved on. So I didn't give him another thought until I woke up with the phone pinging and saw the text yesterday. And I was just like, oh, fuck. And I was like, well, I don't want to be nasty, you know, and ignore him. Because you don't want to treat people the way I want to be treated. So I went ahead and responded. So I thought it was just going to be the end of that once I said, how you doing? Good afternoon, blah, blah, blah. That was that. And he said, have a good day. So I thought that was it. And then here come all this other drama. And I was like, oh, here we go. But my thing is, to me, the situation is water under the bridge. It's over with. They don't have no way to contact me. They're blocked. Naturally, the way my phone system is set up, the people can still like send messages by voicemail, which I don't like. And I need to talk to my carrier about that. They can send messages through voicemail. They can't send text. they're blocked sending text, but they can still call the number. It goes to voicemail, and they can leave voicemails. And see, I don't like that because although I've blocked these two, I still don't want them calling my damn number and leaving no damn voicemails, talking shit. Because I haven't called these people back. Once I said what I had to say, I was done. But I want him to get the fuck on. So I need to call my carrier and say, how can I get it to where the people cannot leave voicemails and I've blocked them? Because I don't like that. Oh, no, I wasn't saying you weren't 47. What I was saying, I misunderstood what you were saying. Oh, you were saying that you were the age that he said he was. Yeah, well, he ain't 47. He's the same age as Queen. Old lying-ass bat. You believe a good man in front of you. Good person, thank you. Don't need to hear their BS. Well, my thing is, you live and you learn. And I think, sometimes it's good to be transparent when people share your story. So other people won't make the same mistakes that you've made. That's all about growth. Now, sometimes, like I said, sharing on a platform such as this, you got all type of people that can get access to this information. And you don't know who's listening. And people take that shit and try to use it against you. Well, you should have known better. And everybody should have known better about a lot of things. You understand what I'm saying? You only know what you know. So that's why I said you look for the signs in the beginning because they're always there. And I've seen it with the last guy who I was tangled up with on and off for almost 4 years now. He's another one, fly-by-nighter. Always got something going on, nasty-ass attitude. I was mad at myself for holding a conversation with him a week or so ago. He's still just aloof and bitter. And it's like, you know what? You can't help these people. Stop talking to them. Because it's going back and forth, dealing with them on and off. It's just pointless. Because they're never going to change. And I think that we do that as women. We hope that, well, if a little time goes by, maybe they'll be different 6 months later, a year later. Nah. Motherfuckers just miserable. Let them stay that way. And I have told this to many men. You're going to look up one day, you're going to try to call Queen. She is not going to answer. She is not going to respond. Or you're not going to have a way to contact her. And that will be on you. Because you've had ample enough time to straighten your shit, tighten your shit. You can't expect people to just sit around, and deal with your garbage. And then you pop up when you won't, call when you won't. I hate that shit. You're going to pop up 6 months later, 8 months later. Hey, how you doing? Excuse me? I could be dead, anything, in a coma. It's just so weird how these men, they just take so much for granted. Just think you just pop up, knock on somebody's door or call somebody's phone, and they're supposed to reciprocate and respond. And then you get mad if they have an attitude. Well, why are you acting like that? Why are you talking down to me? It's like, I haven't heard from you since, the VCR was invented. What the hell are you talking about? I don't owe you anything. People are tripped. 24/7 is so funny. Yeah. And I'm sure all of them are sitting there thinking to themselves, I know I shouldn't be treating her like that. But I'm just messed up upstairs. Well, you messed up upstairs just causing somebody else to be messed up upstairs. And I'm not trying, to get my brain all messed up because of the way you treated me and the way I'm allowing you to treat me. So best I'll just leave your ass alone for good and keep it moving. That's why today last night, I was just in good spirits. I don't know what overcame me. I was just, like I said, I was watching the telly. I was listening to my Bluetooth and I was in my own zone and I still feel good, despite this little minor setback, which, it's nothing serious because he's not somebody, this guy, he's not somebody I was just like, oh my God, so smitten with. It was just, he sat down next to me. We started talking and then he just started heavy flirting and patting my arm and rubbing my arm like he's known me for years, which I thought was, really inappropriate. It was inappropriate. Because I told him that. I said, why do you keep touching me? Oh, you're just so soft. I said, okay, but it's really rude. You don't know me like that. And you just keep rubbing my arm. You need to stop. He wouldn't stop. This shit was weird. And I thought he must have been hard up for some kitty cat or something. He wasn't getting none from me. And then look at all the trouble he's caused. What woman want to be interested in a man that one comes off creepy, crawly, clingy, lies about having somebody, and then 2 days later, got some woman calling her phone. Now, some woman will go ahead and try to talk to him anyway, but what would be the point? You'd be a fool to talk to him because he's not going to do nothing but bring trouble, and then he's never going to be honest about anything because that's why I said if he's lying to her, he gets with you, he gonna lie to you. So you haven't gained anything. Nothing but a wet tail. That's it. And you can get that anywhere. Excuse my language. It's just pointless. Well, I'm going to check out of here. I'm almost 3 hours, you guys. This is too long to be on the live. I'm getting ready to get my nighty clothes on and pour me a stiff one. Try to find me a good movie. Might find me a horror movie. Something to scare the bejeebers out of me. But check my community page. This week I had a documentary from the CW channel. They've done quite a few good documentaries pertaining to the lady in Alabama that was the corrections officer that freed her lover, the Casey White story, and Korberger. I watched that one this week. And she's also done one on the kids of Idaho 4. So I put one of them up for a suggestion for a movie this week. So go to my community page a couple of days back, and you can watch them for free in the YouTube queue if you like to. And I might suggest something for this weekend in case some of you decide to stay in. It's not going to be really warm this weekend here in Knoxville, so I'll be probably staying in. Yeah, well, he's done it already, Gottfried. Kept touching. Just that was creepy because it was just like, what man just does that? Just keep rubbing your arm. And it's just like, it was weird. And I told him, I was like, why do you keep rubbing my arm? What is the problem? Because he was just, and for this guy to say he's never been with a bigger woman, and you just keep rubbing my arm. See, that's why I said nothing he said made any sense. You're contradicting yourself. Oh, you've never been with a bigger woman, but you're steady rubbing a bigger woman's arm and talking about, oh, you're so soft. And yeah, I know, like Charmin. I know. I smell good. I look good. I feel good. I've heard it 1,000 times. But stop. You know what I'm saying? Damn. That's when you think about it. It don't look good. Be in public, you're just stroking my arm. And then next, he's rubbing my leg, the side of my leg. And I was just like, okay, what is going on? Oh, you look so nice. You dress so nice, too. I was like, oh, God. I just thought, okay, this guy, he's up to something. He wants something bad. Because he's acting like he's, damn. If I didn't know any better, I'm going to be truthful with you. The way he was acting, I would think he just got out of jail. The way he behaved that night, Wednesday night, I would think he had just got out of jail. And do you know that crossed my mind while I was sitting there? I said, I wonder if this man just got out of jail or penitentiary. And I almost wanted to ask him, did you just get out of prison? Damn. Because his behavior just seems thirsty. And for me not to be really his type of woman, that's exactly what made me think that. Especially after he said that, I thought, this motherfucker that been locked up. He must have been locked up. Gottfried said he sounds like, probably. Shit, look, he already lied about having somebody. So he done lied about having a wife. He done lied about being allegedly homeless. So far, we know his ass could have been locked up too. Shit. Like they say, why stop there? Hell, what else you done lied about? You on the run? What else you done lied about? Hell, probably don't even got no job. Well, he homeless and got a job, but then where he stayed in? Oh, that's right, he homeless. So he work and he sleep outside. Girl, I'm through with these people. What they call it, Mutt and Jeff. That's what he and his wife are to me, Mutt and Jeff. I ain't got time for that nonsense. Oh, What you said he probably would. What you think he just got out of jail or prison? Or he stayed in a halfway house? That crossed my mind too. That's what I thought when he said somebody was going to be calling the phone. I said, well, damn, is he in a halfway house? Did he use the halfway house phone? They trying to figure out who they call. I just had all type of stuff was swirling through my mind. Somebody live in a tent. Somebody he was in jail. But you know what? When you think about certain things, there's probably some truth to it, because what are the odds? I said to myself while he was sitting there, something ain't right with this dude. Something is off. That's all I kept saying the whole time. Then the next day I thought about it too. I said, yeah, something wasn't right with him. God, please don't let him call. If I'm swirling all these thoughts in my head, you know there was some truth to at least one of the options. He got a woman. He's homeless. He's in a halfway house. He just got out of jail or prison. Because what don't make no sense is that you're sitting here telling a strange woman, oh yeah, I'm married. We're married, but he's homeless. The two just don't make no sense. They don't even go together. Most women would say, well, he's happily married. We got kids, blah, blah, blah. Who tells a woman, oh, we're married, but he's homeless? That's just something that statement don't make no sense to me. I think it's just that. I think he probably has only been out a few months, and maybe he's in a halfway house or something, parole, and maybe he visited her. I don't know. It's just something. I can't put it together. I don't even need to be focusing on this, really, Godric. Because there's nothing going on between me and him for me to be sitting here trying to beat my head against a wall. But I'm just saying, that's just a weird statement to say. Oh, by the way, that's my husband. He's homeless. You can't make this up. I'm going to have to do a short on that. Oh, I know. I'm going to get all kind of crazy ass comments. They both will be homeless. She might be just as off as him. Oh, you're a fool. you might be on to something. Listen, she's sitting at the Walmart tent going through his phone while he done rolled over and went to sleep. Girl, I'm dead. Listen, well, let me stop. Because let me tell you something. Knoxville is very small. And let me tell you something before I check off this live. With my discerning spirit telling me something wasn't right Wednesday night, telling me something was off with these two today, I can tell you right now, it's only a matter of time. I'll be bumping into him again, and he'll probably be with her. You mark my words. And like I said, this town is small. You'd be surprised who you bump into, especially when you live in places where there's a lot of flow traffic. You could bump into anybody. And that's my fear, because I thought about that today when all this shit went down. I said, oh my God, although I'm praying I don't live nowhere near him, it would be just my luck. I walk outside my door one day and bump into his black ass in the damn parking lot. Oh my God. Yeah, of course. Because you know you can do a reverse look on telephone numbers and shit like that. Even though I've got an alias on the phone number through my carrier. But still, it's still partially put in my government name, my cell phone. So, you know, you have to be careful with that. So, you know, I was thinking about that today. I said, oh my God, it's just my luck. Bump into his ass. If I go back out, and my luck, he be in there with her. He might be stupid enough to tell her, oh yeah, that's that lady who I was talking to. Because I don't trust him, just like I don't trust most men. And I know, as I've said before, there are some weak-minded men that would tell a woman everything. Oh yeah, this is her name, this is where she lives, this is where she worked, da, da, da. So I'm glad he don't know anything personal. One thing he does know personal, he knows about this channel. That was mentioned. I showed him the channel Wednesday night. So if he's out there, he might be listening to me talk about his black ass. Him and his crazy ass spouse. But other than that, I did not tell him where I live, because my spirit told me. You ain't feeling him like that for him to know where I live. And that's just something I don't tell people as soon as I talk to them in a conversation. Oh, yeah, I live over there, over there. I don't do that. Because there's just no logical reason for me to tell a complete stranger where I live. I'm not going to do that. I don't even tell men on a date site where I live. I'm not that fucking crazy. Right? I'm not going to tell him where I stay. And then he just kept asking, do you live near here? Do you live near here? Do you live near this road? Because he kept mentioning some street where he grew up. And then he kept saying, do you live near there? Do you live near there? Do you live near there? I'm not going to tell you, oh, yeah, I live 2 blocks over from there. Or I'm 10 blocks from over. I'm not going to tell you shit. You didn't even need to know what side of town I was on. You know. And I don't even recommend people telling people that when they ask you, oh, what side of town do you live on? I don't. I live in the county. And I think from now on, I'm going to start telling people that. When they ask me, where do you stay? In the county. Because nobody needs to know where you live. You live in Knoxville, they don't need to live. They don't need to know that. And I think I'm going to start saying that when people ask me, do you still live at such and such? Oh, no, I live in the county. Oh, but I think I saw you one day over here and over here. I was picking up groceries for an elderly client. Just make up anything. Because it's nobody's fucking business. Everybody's so busy trying to figure out stuff. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't tell him off of what street I lived on. Because next thing you know, he'd been sitting there trying to figure it out. Well, such and such is on such and such street. Because there's people that do that here in Knoxville. They're always trying to put stuff together. People telling you, people here in this area, they're so fucking nosy. All these counties, they're nosy. Knoxville, Knox County, Blount, Anderson, Rome. These are the nosiest people. They want to know who you're related to, where are you from, who's your mama, who's your daddy, who's your grandparents. That's why I'm so glad my relatives are deceased. You can't put nothing to nothing. I tell them I'm not from here. I don't got no relatives here. Ain't nothing here for me to tell you, for you to try to figure out nothing. That's the first thing somebody say. Are you related to such and such? Do you know such and such? You kind of look like such and such sister. No, my relatives don't live here. I don't have no immediate family in the area. Even if I do, I lied. Tell you nothing. All right, everybody, I got to get out of here. Get me some rest. I've enjoyed it talking to you guys. I hope you all enjoyed the show tonight. Once again, this commentary is about Sean Puffy Combs. Jury selection will start on Monday, May 5th. The trial should start on May 12th if everything goes okay. He has turned down his third plea deal by the state. Don't know the stipulations of the plea deal. But when I get an update to that plea deal, I will bring you that set information. Follow my network community page, polls, take the polls, make your voice count. And also follow me on the Newsbreak app. Download it, put it on your phone. Whenever I give a comment, you'll get a notification that the Queen commented on an article. And also you can check out my library of videos and posts. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live. I hope you all enjoyed this content. Pray for me. Bless me. That everything goes okay. Biopsy, because I know I will have to have surgery soon after I do the biopsy next Friday. But just pray for me. And also follow the network. Show your support. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Okay, Gottfried. Well, that's true. But a lot of men won't. Thank you, sweetheart. A lot of men won't, and that's the thing. And a lot of women, they're deceptive too. So, it's not always about men. But people are people, and that's what people need to understand. I hate to say this, but trust no one, because you don't know people. Just as quick as you start out talking to people, you think they're nice, they're friendly. They don't talk, they don't call, they don't visit, you just don't know people. Everybody's got their own mode of living and thought process. And that's what people really need to understand. That's why I try not to get offended. If a person taper off, you don't hear from them again, or they start talking weird, offhanded, your best bet is just leave them alone. And if they start that, well, I don't hear and you don't, you can lie like they lie. Well, I was busy, I was asleep, I was sick. My thing is, I'm to the point now where I feel like, why should I have to be truthful and tell you, you just been an ass and a dick, and I just don't want to deal with you. I can just play just as crazy. Well, I ain't been feeling well. Oh, I didn't get the call. Oh, I didn't see the text. Oh, my phone was messed up. We can just be two liars together. How about that? Or I can tell you, I'm just doing me. Ain't really want to be bothered. And that way you don't have to explain anything. Just keeping it real. Thank you, Godric. Thank you all for joining me. You all have a wonderful Saturday. I'm going to check out of here, take me a shower, and then I'm going to pour me a nice drink. Have me a nice little Long Island. Yes. Make me a Long Island tonight. You all be safe. Mind the children. Okay, true that. Queen so free. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. It was interesting. I know. I think I got a little too transparent. But hey, you live and you learn. Talk to you guys later. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Good night, hon.